If you can keep your head when all about you are losing theirs and blaming it on you, if you can trust yourself when all men doubt you, but make allowances for their doubting too, if you can wait and not be tired by waiting, or being lied about, don't deal in lies, or being hated, don't give way to hating, and yet don't look too good nor look too wise. If you can dream and not make dreams your master, if you can think and not make thoughts your aim, if you can meet with triumph and disaster and treat those two impostors just the same, if you can hear the truth you've spoken twisted by knaves to make a trap for fools, or watch the things you gave your life for broken, and stoop and build them up with worn-out tools, if you can make one heap of all your winnings and risk it on one turn of pitch and toss, and lose and start again at the beginning, and never breathe a word about your loss, if you can force your heart and nerve and sinew to serve your turn long after they are done, and so hold on when there is nothing in you except the will which says to them, hold on. If you can talk with crowds and keep your virtue, or walk with kings nor lose the common touch, if neither foes nor loving friends can hurt you, if all men count with you, but none too much, if you can fill the unforgiving minute with 40 seconds worth of distance run, yours is the earth and everything that's in it, and which is more, you'll be a man, my son.
you write women so well?
I think of a man, and I take away reason and accountability.
But what is so important about driving faster than anyone else?
A lot of people go through life doing things badly. Racing's important to men who do it well. When you're racing, it's life. Anything that happens before or after, it's just waiting.
If like I wasn't a feminist, I don't know what I would be, if that makes sense. Like I don't really have like that's just all I know, I guess. And I guess I haven't really educated
That actually
myself.
makes sense.
You know what I mean?
Feminism is basically the air that we breathe, and it's the water we swim in, whether people know it or not. It's ingratiated in society. So you may not have any other position other than that. So if you say, I really don't know anything besides feminism, I believe you.
Thank you.
It's mainstream. Do you guys believe in the patriarchy?
But it's still a bad position. It's still like what you
fine.
just saying.
And what is that? So what is the patriarchy?
It's patriarchy's when like men rule, right?
Mostly, right?
Men rule, women drool. Wait, what? Okay, that's
No, that was my fault.
Say it. Can you say the patriarchy is awesome?
it's not bad. It's not bad.
The patriarchy is awesome.
That one is for you, Grid One Motorsports.
Target acquired.
Eagle 1, first strike. You have permission to engage the target.
Warning, the following video contains explicit language which may be offensive to some viewers or inappropriate for children. The content within this video is intended for mature audiences only.
All right, welcome back out there, folks. Hope everybody is having a good day. Looks like people are just kind of straggling in. Got a case of the Mondays or something. So we're just going to get into some normal stuff, and then we'll hopefully we'll have some more people drag their happy asses on in. We will see. Let's see what's going on out there. What's gone on since Saturday? Well, let's talk about Saturday to start with. Saturday had the potential to be a really, really good stream. The debate, I liked the subject of the debate. I liked, well, actually, I didn't like the topic was regardless whether or not I liked it, but I liked the two guys that were going to be in it. I thought it was going to be a really good debate. Unfortunately, they spent a lot of time talking past each other, and it just did not. It didn't hit like I thought it would, and it was really deep in the weeds. And then after that, I went over to judge a debate panel. Now, this is an all lefty debate panel, guys. This is there were no actual conservatives, let alone Republicans, on the panel, and or on this show. The arguments they made were weak at best, and it just showed the bias, which obviously the right can do that too. I just feel like that on typically most conservatives will, rather than live in an echo chamber, they at least attempt to reach out. I'm not saying all of them do, but most of them. At any rate, I had the lowest numbers I think I've ever seen for a Saturday night show, ever on Saturday night. So I don't blame you if you didn't watch it. The Confluence thing started out really good. It actually wasn't terrible. It did get a little bit long, and they did kind of circle the same material quite a bit. There was a lot of the arguments got circular really quick, and but the guys did a reasonable job. If you didn't stay for the lefty stuff, I don't blame you. I wouldn't have either. It's weird when and people just are just not able to debate. There absolutely was a there was an underlying current of leftism which was hilarious. What's up, Nate? How are you? I see you out there, Mr. Mister, as well, and Naomi. Good to see all of you guys in the chat. People are going to be trickling in, I assume, so we'll get into that. I'll probably have to repeat this later, but Wednesday night we're going to have another panel. I think Emmett wants to call it Date Wars or Date Night or something like that. I'm ambivalent. I don't really care what we call it, but it's going to be, men versus women. We're going to do the same topic we did last week, but this time I'm going to try and get people who will address the topic rationally and with some degree of interest rather than I feel like last week we had a little bit of trolling, which is fine. I don't mind that. It did make for a good show. It was a great show, honestly. It was a tremendous show. But I'd like to examine the same topic with some different people, reaching out to for the males for the panel. Hopefully we'll get that sewn up today or tomorrow. For the females on the panel right now, we have Hanina. I'm not really sure how you say her name still. So we have her coming back to do that panel. And then I'm unsure on the second female panelist. I believe Beth is going to be the second female panelist. And we may add one more of each to round it out to 6. But last week it seemed like with 6 people, there was a lot of over talking and a lot of, it just seemed like 4 might be the magic number. We'll see. Let's see what else. Housekeeping stuff. I don't know. It's been great. It was a good couple of days off. Didn't get to play any golf, but that's okay. Mostly I just, yesterday I had kind of a free day. I worked mostly on one of my motorcycles and, just did random stuff, guys, just random stuff. What else can I say about that? Not much. Friday night, of course, will be the debate show. The debate show this week. I'm not sure the topic yet. I'll probably announce that on Wednesday night, what we're going to be doing. It's almost time again to do another Nerd Wars, and I will be very busy next week, so I may not be. Matter of fact, next Friday I will be at TwitchCon, I believe. I can check my calendar, but I believe next Friday is TwitchCon, so there will be no debate show. So probably ought to get a really good one in before we head out. So one of the interesting things that has always interested me is this idea of safety and how everybody says safety first. But the reality is if we put safety first, nothing would ever get done. And so the actual reality is safety is basically a distant third. If you really want to get into it, safety is a distant third at best. And there's no, it's just, you can't even argue with it. Safety, if we put and a distant third, and it could be dropped down as low as 5th, right? Things need to be done quickly. They need to be done well. Safety, far down the list, to be honest. We're going to talk a little bit more about that as the show goes on. In addition, we have a lot of stuff to talk about over the weekend. I'm not sure if you guys have been paying just a ton of attention, but the world is kind of popping off right now, right? It's been very interesting. If you didn't watch Mike Ball this morning, you should have. The news was really good, or he did the news very well, I should say. I'm not saying the news was good, but he did the news very, very well. And what do we think about it all, right? There's a lot of people predicting a lot of bad things for the economy, and yet the stock market is continuing to surge. Crypto's even doing well. It had a little bit of a fall, but now it's coming back up. Real estate is the biggest place we're having problems, and that was predicted back in 2023 that within 5 years there would be a massive retraction in real estate value. That's what we're seeing right now. Fortunately, it's being slowed down and somewhat halted. The banks are helping. But what's not helping is the cost of food, cost of gasoline, although gasoline is not terrible, but it's still high. It's making it tough for people who want to live a certain way to live that way. And what we actually have going on here, guys, if you will, is we have a situation where people want to live a very specific way. They want to live far away from where they work because they're very comfortable driving to work. Then they want to bitch about the cost of gasoline. Okay. They want to have basically everything the Joneses have. And then they want to bitch about the cost of goods as it is existing today. It's a very interesting time. I mean, it's been this way kind of for a while, but the reality here is that it's getting worse. We literally live at the most prosperous time in history. We literally live in a world where you have to put effort into failing. But everybody wants everything. Everybody wants literally everything. Mr. Mister says, I feel like people often confuse the state of the economy with the state of the average worker, the middle-class laborer that doesn't own stock or deal in housing market, etc. If you look at it from that lens, it's bad. Yeah, I think so. I mean, I don't think it's good. And Anson Knowles comes in with the price of gas is flat. The value of money used to buy it is not. Sure. But we have a very luxurious society. It's insane, honestly, that every week people go to the mall in droves and spend massive amounts of money. I mean, it's good that they do because the people that work there need jobs, and that helps the economy. Every single day, somebody somewhere in this country is going on vacation for a week or 2 weeks. We actually sold so many RVs, travel trailers, and campers that the industry boomed to the point where there were people who earned their entire livings. And I'm not talking about one or two, I'm talking about hundreds of people who earned their entire livings just driving RVs and campers from the factories to the dealerships. It was nonstop. Nonstop. The mentality that we have today is interesting to me. We're going to get into that a little bit because and I actually got a really specific thing, but it's really in a lot of ways it's kind of disheartening because the level of the level of materialism that we've gotten to, the level of expected comforts it's kind of insane. It's kind of insane. But we'll get into that a little bit. In Tennessee, our governor just agreed with our state attorney that it's okay for the governor to send National Guard troops into Memphis. I don't know if you know this, but Memphis is a shithole. It's not a really good city at all. It's a high crime, a lot of problems. And so the Democrats were saying that the governor could not, in fact, send the National Guard into Memphis because there was no insurrection, there's no rebellion. There's in Tennessee state constitution, we have a list of things that allows the National Guard to be used. Apparently, there was a group of people who didn't believe that we had met that, and the Democrats. But the state attorney said, well, absolutely, the governor can do that. And so he is. And basically, it's a space of about 8 blocks, I think, maybe 10. That's really the problem in Memphis, right? And I mean, it's bad. It's as bad as Chicago. People, shootings every night, prostitution out in the open, drug deals out in the open, all of the things, right? And so I think everybody needs to understand when we talk about this crime issue, right? Especially when we're talking about the crime issue from the point of view that why would you feel the need to send in your National Guard into a city to assist the police? In Tennessee, that's a very simple thing, is that the police are, while they're not outgunned, to be honest, the police are somewhat disheartened. They don't necessarily feel like that even patrolling those areas. And when they do, they're very disheartened by the amount of turnover in the local courts, because it is a blue city, with these guys just getting put back on the streets, despite Tennessee laws saying that should. And so we need that additional show of force. We need people to start taking this. We need to start taking this stance that crime is not fucking okay. It's just not. And if the police need help, then they should get help. I did not see the takeover in Pigeon Forge, Buddha. I'll have to look it up. I heard something about Pigeon Forge, but I hadn't actually looked into it. So Memphis is just like Chicago on a smaller scale, New York City, Washington, D.C., L.A., San Diego. It's just like a lot of these cities, Baltimore, where you have this inner city, Detroit, St. Louis, where you have this inner city kind of mentality and a lot of garbage that goes on there, right? And when the police aren't able to deal with it, or when the police try to deal with it and the politicians, the local courts, just run a revolving door system, in spite of state legislation at times, what you end up with is what you're seeing right now, is that the police are just apathetic in a lot of cases. They know that they're not backed up. And a lot of times, and let's remember, guys, a lot of these police chiefs, most of the police chiefs are elected officials, and they get elected in blue counties and blue cities by Democrats. They're not hardline Republicans walking in there with hardline tactics and methodologies. These are people who just don't care. They're a political appointee. All they want to do is collect their job. And if the administration of that town or that city or that county, if the political atmosphere there is, hey, don't mess with our voting base, don't screw, we're running a hard left line here. If that's the situation, then that's the situation you're going to be stuck with. It just is. And that's what you're seeing even in Memphis. So I agree with the governor's stance here of sending those troops in, of having them there to back up the police, of them enforcing the laws. But this is only part of the battle. We not only have to arrest these people and put in the fear of Jesus that they're going to get arrested, but we also have to get the courts working so that these people are punished or receive the treatment help that they need. It's a sad state of affairs right now in our court systems, especially at the state and local level. Because especially in these blue counties and blue cities, most often, as we saw in North Carolina with this magistrate person, just literally letting this dangerous criminal who should have been locked up, if not for a felony, he should have been locked up in a mental home or an institution somewhere. And this is something we've got to solve as well. And you guys have to solve it. Like literally everybody has to solve it. You have to vote in your local elections. You have to go to your town meetings. You have to go and meet with your politicians and tell them that this is not acceptable. Most of them won't listen. But if enough people go, it might sway things. And that poor Ukrainian girl might be alive today had a proper judge, a proper magistrate, somebody that wasn't grifting the system hardcore, lining their own pockets, using the system, abusing the system for their own ends. If they had actually done their job and put that mentally ill person somewhere locked up, then that young Ukrainian girl would still be alive today. She would not have been stabbed on a train while minding her own damn business. I talk a lot about how things ought be. Well, the Democrats will sit there and they will talk about a lot of nonsense, rehabilitation, reintegration into the community. They talk a great game. But at the end of the day, if their job is to make us safer, they have failed. If their job, if the job that you're electing a politician to do is to work in your community to better the community, and you can't walk down the street at night, you can't ride on a public transportation bus, railway, subway, whatever the fuck, if you can't take public transportation, if you can't leave your car in a parking garage, if you're scared to park in a parking garage without three or four people with you for the fear of being mugged, stabbed, robbed, raped, whatever, if you can't do that, then your politician has failed. The politicians have failed. If this is the case, you cannot, there's no way, nobody can explain, there's no explanation, no rationalization when public places and citizens going into those places feel unsafe and are made to be less safe or feel less safe because they can't carry a weapon. Because these states, these towns, these municipalities want to restrict your ability to carry a firearm or carry a knife or carry whatever weapon you desire. Now you're even less safe. And then they disenfranchise the police, the ones that they say are going to protect you, to protect and serve. The police are the ones that are going to handle the problems. That's why you don't need to carry a gun. That's why you don't need a knife. That's why you don't need to carry a walking stick. That's why you don't need to go armed, is because we have the police. And then they go right out and castrate the police and tie their hands, handcuff their wrist to the point where they can't do their job, where their jobs are meaningless. Even if they arrest people, those people get released. Their training is so bad in a lot of areas that there's entire YouTube channels dedicated with new material every day to how stupid the police are. And why is that? Is it because we are hiring stupid police? Obviously we are, but it's because they don't want smart cops out there. They don't want experienced cops out there. They don't want actual people who understand the law and who follow it and who can enforce it. They don't want veterans a lot of times in these positions, all of these kinds of things. If your municipality could be described in this way, it has failed you. You are the citizen and your politicians are failing you, and you need to do something about it. You need to vote. Not only do you need to vote, you need to go to everybody in your neighborhood ought to know not only how you vote, but how they should be voting. Yeah, you can't change your whole city, but you can fucking change your neighborhood, or at least let your neighborhood know what they should be doing. Sure, you can't change the entire school system, but you can damn sure let your teacher know how you feel like your kids' teachers know how you feel like the classroom should be run. And if they don't fucking like it, you can remind them that their job is to serve the public and not their own interest. If they don't like that, you can say, well, the school board has a meeting and I go to it. I'm going to be honestly, there's a lot of people out there who have this weird bullshit point of view. Why I don't go to school board meetings? Why would I? They don't listen to me anyway. Well, they can't fucking listen to you if you're not there, fuckhead. I don't like the way my neighborhood's being policed. I don't like the interactions we're having with the police. Well, you don't go to town meetings, do you? Do you? You don't. It's okay. Just be honest about it. I just don't do that. I want to, but I don't. You don't like the way the taxes are being spent in your town. You don't like the way that they're putting up apartment buildings right next to schools, or they're putting apartment buildings right next to your nice, quiet McMansion neighborhood. I bet you didn't go to the planning commission. I bet you did. I bet you don't go to town hall meetings. I'm in alignment with my governor here. I think that he's doing the right thing. I think that he sending troops to Memphis is great. The next thing is we need to take Memphis back. We've got to get, obviously it's a Democrat stronghold. I hope that the grassroots movement there to flip Memphis from blue to purple and from purple to red, I hope it takes hold. I really do. And then Knoxville's next. We've already got Nashville from red to or from blue to purple. I'm waiting for Nashville to flip full start red or full stop red. Rob is ready for me in 5 minutes, guys. I'm going to jump on over on to Rob's. I got Rob mute. I got that tab muted. I shall unmute it. You may hear it. I'm going to mute it down again. I'll unmute it when it come up. Thanks, EOD. Not all of us are retired and have time to sit around and go to the school board meeting. Yeah, so sure. But have you ever been to one? Have you ever been to a single planning commission meeting? Just one? A lot of people are working 2 jobs to survive in the community or in this economy. Maybe. Chair is pretty based, Buddha. That's true. Alabama is a shithole state, a prison state. The folks that are running it have completely gone off the rails because they were losing money for themselves. Could be. No, I debated that Sage Outcast guy that Rob's talking about right now. That guy was that dude is dumb. I don't often say this, but that guy was dumb. So I'll share my screen here in just a second, guys, while I'm waiting. Give me 1 second. StreamYard. No, I don't want to do that. I want to do. All right, so there we go. I'm ready when Rob's ready. You're 1 minute behind? Awesome, dude. Yes, Arthur Dye, I absolutely do. I do blame them. That's fun. Who cares if you're on an FBI watch list? I'm on all the list. What do I care? Oh, I got to unmute Rob over here. All right, Rob. Why can't I hear you? Why can't I hear Rob? Oh man, that was good troll, buddy. Man, it's good. It's good. I've I had a great day yesterday. Missed you last week, man. I was getting worried. I was like, man, where's Rob? Well, yeah. All right. Hey, are we still on? Is it this Thursday that we're on with modern day debate? Was it the 28th? All right. Yeah. Yeah. I get that. I get that a lot. So preoccupied. You're all right. I was wondering what happened, man. I was like, what happened? Oh, sure. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I mean that I understand. I do the same on Sundays is kind of like it's kind of my off day, and now my wife has claimed it as her day. So, there's yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, mhm. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So Rob, we've been like haven't talked in a while, man, and I like had some stuff I want to talk to you about, but um, now I'm drawing a blank. But I did you watch the con? I mean, I'm sure you haven't because you were out of town, but your buddy Counterpoints had a debate on Sarah's the other night where he absolutely refused to address the prompt. He talked all around the prompt, but he never actually addressed the prompt. The topic was females in the military. Should females be in the military? And his justification for females being in the military is men can't not have sex for 7 or 8 months of deployment, and so they would turn gay without women in the ranks. That was a good part of his big part of his argument. Well, I pointed out that we don't need they've never needed women in the military before. There's a reality to the girl in every port saying, right? Like that's 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 what happens. And it was the dumbest argument I've ever seen. They never addressed the actual prompt at all. Him nor Fugazi. And Fugazi spent half the debate calling Connor gay or asking him if he was gay. Are you gay? Because you're talking about a lot of gay stuff, you know, and it was terrible actually. And I didn't know if you had seen it. And Connor's going to talk a lot of shit about me because I was talking a lot of shit from chat. So mm, yeah, yeah. Right. I think everybody can agree with that, right? Like support roles. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. Well, so I use that example to kind of springboard here. Do you think that it's becoming a larger debate style to just not address the prompt and just try and derail the entire conversation into some stupid ass shit. It seems like a lot of the debates I've watched lately, that's what ends up happening. It's like they're not actually debating the subject matter or the prompt. They pick like one avenue, and usually it's not related. It's like at best tenuously related, and he just sit there and bullshit for like 20 or 30 minutes. And the moderator's like, even if the moderator tries to steer them back, they last 2 minutes and then they veer right back off. Do you think it's a style so that people don't have to take the L or their or to make their opponent so flabbergasted that this has nothing to do with what the fuck we're talking about? Do you think it's a tactic? Yeah. Yeah.
And that's what these Democrats were doing. So could we talk about this? No, that's not the topic. That's whataboutism. You have to talk about this specific topic. So I understand the frustration of finding yourself in a position where you're being forced to argue something because there's no other game in town that you don't think is that important. And
Yeah.
I know you've been in this as well. Like there's been times, one panel I did on Rittenhouse, I remember the topic before, I can't even fucking remember the guy's name. This is how little cultural like entertainment there was a rapper that apparently someone got stampeded to death at his concert, and that was one of the topics, and I'm just like, and then the next topic I think on that same debate was, what do you think about people scalping PS5s? And I'm just like, but I didn't derail it. I was just like, I don't have anything to say. Like I have like a general like 3-minute like here's my thoughts, but I don't, right? So like, but there are certainly a lot of people now, I think that they see themselves losing sort of the control of that because now there are other games in town, like Sarah and you have a show, and it's like, look, we try to actively come up with topics that we think would be useful for both sides, right? So it's not like on Grid's debate show that it's like every topic's going to be like geared towards, well, fuck the left. There's almost no, it's like, no, we'll come up with topics. Two people will come to you with the topic. You'll say, sure, you guys could debate that topic, no problem. And there does seem to be a lot of like disengagement with what the actual topic's supposed to be. And I definitely can see how it's what they would think would be a useful tactic. For me, I have not taken debates for this very reason, right? I'll debate Destiny on why he's a sack of shit for calling out deaths and stuff. But if someone's like, hey, Rob, will you debate Destiny on tariffs? I'd be like, no, not at this point. Or I could say, sure, and then just go in and say, fuck tariffs. We're going to talk about how you're a piece of shit. But that wouldn't really be fair to the moderator and to the audience that's there to see. So I'd just say, no, I'm not going to take that debate. That's weird you bring this up because tonight I'm going to have a debate, and I think the topic's
you're debating
ridiculous.
Connor tonight?
No. Tonight I'm debating on Sarah's channel, and it is the exact wording of the topic is George Floyd worse for society than Destiny? And it's like, okay. So I'm going to stay within the framework of that. We're going to talk about George Floyd and Destiny, but as far as the specific, it is what it is.
I mean, they're both meth addicts, so I don't know. Hey, so another thing, I was on I was a judge on a lefty panel on Saturday night, and it's run by a guy called the Horseradish, and it's a weird debate. I mean, it's an interesting debate style, but it's a weird debate because they're all leftist and they're trying to argue left versus right as leftists, and like it's the biggest like echo chamber I've been in.
It was I was in this Discord invasion I did there the other day and ended up on this like Discord channel. There was only like 6 people on it, but they were all communists. And they were like, just to show you the echo chamber that was, they were thoroughly convinced that CNN and the New York Times are right wing. And you're like, oh, because they're like super lefties and they consider everyone to the right of them right wing. No, not just right wing, pro Trump. The New York Times, CNN. And it's like, I don't know how to reach you if you're that far gone that you're like, when I'm watching Jake Tapper, I'm like, this damn Trump supporter, like, the writers at the New York Times. It's like, we are in 2 completely different realities at this point. I don't know what possible conversation we can have because, you're in such an echo chamber. And I think that I see that a lot, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it I see you potentially criminal. We'll read that after. But, I see that a lot where it's like, for me, one of the salient moments Scott Adams talks about, we're watching 2 movies, right? Like we're both sitting here, we're watching the same movie, but we think we're watching 2 different movies. Yeah. I have this friend in real life. It's not a stupid person. Way back with the Mike Flynn stuff when they first released the 302s of Flynn, right? And you can see what Flynn allegedly said. Now the 302 there's problems with anyways, but even that, it's like Flynn did nothing, right? And I read it and my buddy happened to call me about something else and he's like, he's left wing. He's like, did you see that 302? I said, yeah. He said, what'd you think? And I was like, I know, it's fucking crazy, right? This is why they ruined this guy's life. And he's like, what are you talking about? He committed treason. He should be executed. And I was like, wait, what? And he's like, yeah. And I like pulled up. I'm like, this. And I'm reading it. He's like, yes, that's treason. And I'm like, what? This is like the most benign. And we're both looking at the exact same fucking document. And he's like, this is the biggest crime that you could commit in this country. And I'm like, this is literally not a crime and would be less important than a speeding ticket. And it's like, I don't know how you bridge that gap when things are that crazy, when there's that much of a divide that you're starting with. Yeah, the potentially criminals like those 302s were edited as fuck. Well, the entire idea, I say this all the time, I can't fucking believe it, that I'm some bumbling redneck and I have this where I could record shit wherever I want. And yet our FBI can't video or audio record interviews they do. Instead, we have to rely on their handwritten notes, which, oopsie, if they make a mistake or, God forbid, they want to be corrupt, we just have to take their word for it,
Well, so. It's interesting. The police are actually really, initially the police were really annoyed with body cams for the reason that they were so used to just being able to pencil whip their reports any which way they wanted to go. And now, like, it's glaring when they write in the report that, subject was aggressive and their body camera shows a guy like leaning against his car smoking a cigarette.
Right. No. Now it's funny. Body cams had the opposite effect. A lot of people thought that it was going to show that a lot of interracial interactions with the police were garbage. And it turned out you see a lot of people that claimed I didn't do anything wrong were actually, but yeah, you're certainly right. And it's the same is true. Like even in my little line of work that I did before this in home health care, they would put certain houses, they would put cameras in because there was, incidents that would occur in the house a lot. So they put cameras in. And what you'd start to see is a lot of the reports that were being filed for years and years, all of a sudden it doesn't match up with what you're seeing on the video footage. It's like, wait a minute, you said that this person was being really aggressive, but it looks like what happened was you were on your phone in the staff office for fucking 2 hours while that person kept asking you for lunch. And then they got mad and they threw something because, it's an adult with autism,
Sure.
And it's like, yeah, you still shouldn't throw things, but that's a far cry from, I was just sitting there asking what was going on. You know what I mean? How these reports are normally wrote up.
Yeah.
But, Grid, I'll give you the last word. I got 2 more callers to get to.
Sure. So you probably don't know this. In Nashville, we just had our governor agree with our state attorney that he can send the National Guard into Memphis. Obviously, the Democrats in Memphis are crying about that a lot today. And so I'm in total agreement. I think that we need to clean up these crime-ridden towns. And in Memphis, it's about an 8 or 10 block area of Memphis that's really, really bad. And I really don't understand why the Democrat politicians and officials seem to want to block this at every turn. It's like you would think that an elected official would want to protect their constituency and their community, but it's the exact opposite. And obviously, I think I can make guesses as to what's wrong, but or why they want to do that. But it's very interesting to watch it in real time on color TV. on video that we can play over and over again, where Democrats are literally saying, "Don't send these people to help my town," because
I have my reasons. It would take me an entire show to talk about, but anarcho tyranny, baby. That's what's going on. So
yeah.
But
yeah.
yeah, we'll be seeing each other soon. I think we're doing a debate together.
Yeah, we're doing a debate
who's
together.
more-
And then I'm trying to find you a worthy opponent for my event. I'm trying to get some left. The leftists are a little. I don't know. It just seems like they don't want to debate IRL. They just are all like, "Oh yeah, I'm down the debate," but not in real life.
Of course. So great. I always appreciate it, man.
Yeah, man.
You have a good one. We'll talk soon.
Yeah, absolutely. Talk to you later.
Bye. Super chats. First.
Wrong button. Whoops. Wrong button. Your beard's better than Rob's? Maybe. At any rate, I forget where I was in my diatribe because before the Rob call, Rob is awesome. And that was a lot of fun. All right, let's see what's up here. You could watch your coworkers getting more radical from watching Destiny. Wow. I didn't think they could get more radical in there. That's funny. Watched Destiny without Andrew and almost had to go to rehab for not having any moral pillars. That's right. The world's most corrupt president is now interested in cleaning crime. Oh, what's up, Calvin College? Collage. I have not seen you in a while. Yeah, I mean, I think that you're way off base there, Calvin, but I'm sure that you as a leftist are perfectly fine with not sending in the police to or not reinforcing the police with the National Guard. I bet. I'm just guessing, Calvin, that you're of the opinion that if, without the governors requesting it, a little extra help is a bad thing. What's up, Osa? The healer, man, it has been a while. What's up, my man? That is a bolt rifle. That's an FN TSR in 308 Winchester short mag. Clover tack. So, yeah. So yeah, that's an FN TSR. It's it's a amazing rifle right out of the box. Don't have to do a lot to it. It's great. I've hit right at 1,600 yards. I'm pretty good with it. Out after that, I'm not so much. Osa the healer, good to see you, my friend. Good to see you in the chat. It's been a while. I got to go back to Calvin here. First of all, I don't consider Trump corrupt. I'm sure that you have your reasons for claiming so, but I probably won't agree with him. However, it does boggle the mind that so many people, so many Democrat politicians do not want help cleaning the crime up in their cities. Can you explain that to me? Can you help me with that one? Do you have a reason why the Democrats do not want help cleaning up the crime-ridden cities? What's up with that? But yes, I actually Clover Tack, I change the guns around a lot. You're in the bushes sometimes. I'm an independent voter. I'm 100% against crime. I am in favor of government support to help crime. It's just Trump. Okay, so you just don't like Trump. All right, that's fine. That's cool. All right, Calvin. Fair enough. But are you going to call out the Democrats on preventing Trump from doing the thing that needs to be done? Are you gonna call him out on that? Osa the healer says, peace. As a resident of DC, I'm sorry, brother, I recommend federal support to local law enforcement. It's worked wonders for my community. Yeah, I actually had a friend of mine who was in DC earlier this month and or last month. He said that it was awesome. So, Tootie Bug, what that what? I don't know. Let's see. if you sweep the dust under the rug, is there any dust? Tim's cope. Could be. Could be. Maybe I'll just have a Coke and a smile and shut the fuck up. You guys don't remember that. That's old. That is old. That's old comedy. Back in the olden days. 5-second rule. Sure. All right. Now, where were we? Well, I talked about, that you need to have community involvement. I'm actually really aggravated right now with the lack of community involvement. I don't know. Are you guys familiar with this this stupid ass web page or app or whatever the fuck it is called fuck is it? Nextdoor? It's basically cancer on the internet. And it's a lot of Karens out there whining and bitching, and a lot of con people out there asking for, I'm here all alone. My husband left me with the kids, and I have no food, and I have no nothing, and I just need a little help. Whatever. Cancer. But and it's mostly leftist. It's mostly a bunch of leftists. It is insane to me how many people get on there to literally whine, cry, and moan about shit that doesn't matter. And how and just how bad it is. It's just so bad. Cleaner, Rob's not here. You're like 20 minutes behind. Hit live. I fixed that, by the way. Oh, all right. Now I missed. Now I can't remember the point of my Nextdoor thing. The Nextdoor is a pain in the ass. But it's always interesting to see how people in my area think. It's okay till you get spammed with lost dog or I'm from out of state and don't have anything. That's right. Yeah, Buddha. That's it. I don't care where you are. That's the same thing. It's the same thing everywhere. Base book review. Yes, we know that. Parents and women need to hear the word no from any man who have never heard the word no from any man. Yeah, Rob's gone. Yeah, Rob not here. Dave's not here, man. You guys are gonna get me going, man. This is cool. Osa the Healer, how are you? It's been a minute. I'm very curious how you are. Man, I actually burned a lot of time in the Rob segment. Who is Rob? Rob's the guy with the better beard than you. What's up, Mikey Balls? How are you? Ah, man. Rob's in our hearts. You're definitely live. Can't hear Rob. Yeah, you can't hear Rob because Rob's not here. Mikey Balls. Oh, that's crazy, Cleaner. YouTube's been doing some weird shit lately, though. I'm just gonna let it roll because YouTube's just been jacked lately. Well, I'm gonna open the panel up here a little bit early today. Just I got so sidetracked, and we'll get into it. It's interesting that so many politicians do not want to do that. What is the? Hold on, I gotta scroll. Man, I didn't scroll. Let me look. Let me find that really quick. Stand by. It's in my email. It's the topic would be whether the left is more violent. It looks like we did set it as Tuesday, October 28th at 9 p.m. It's Rob and I versus an unnamed a set of opponents, although it looks like it might be Craig FTFE or Brent and Brent Lengel or somebody else. Arthur Dye was just trolling Buddha. Oh wait, she already said that. Never mind. Yeah. So yeah, that's the topic there, Calvin. Whether the left is more violent. Now, we have to really kind of parse that down because, as Cleaner very aptly and astutely pointed out the other night, honestly, the right is very much more violent and is capable of far more violence than the left. However, we are not the more violent currently. So we're talking. We have to differentiate between potential for violence, because the right has a very much a higher potential for violence, and actual violence that occurs, and that we'll have to define that. So yeah, there you go, Arthur Daya. It's odd to see you in here during the day. I think it's very interesting. So very cool though, very cool. So, I guess really the last thing I have before I go to open panel is we seem to have a lot of division in this country that I'm really not used to. I have never really actually thought of the left or people who lean left as my enemy. And actually, to be honest with you, I have a lot of friends. Well, actually, I don't have a lot of friends. I have a lot of acquaintances who lean left or who will talk about leftist sort of things. And I'm okay. You know, I allow them to have their opinions. They allow me to have mine. And somewhere in the middle, we all live. But there is, and we can't deny, there is a greater and greater polarization, especially among young people. I think probably more than there ever has been. So it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. If us old heads, as they call us, can kind of tamp down that energy and dampen it so that we don't end up with something bad happening. Or if it's just going to go, devolve into thermonuclear warfare. Right. As the immigration goes up, the division increases. However, Mr. I agree with you. However, also at the same time, now that we've put the brakes on immigration, the division is ramping up, mainly because my personal opinion is that we have agent provocateurs in our daily society whose purpose is to create this strife so that we want to allow things to kind of go back to where they were, right? And with the unchecked immigration and all of that. So when we it seems like every time we slow the immigration, the violence increases remarkably. So that's very interesting to me. I'm probably the only one that it's interesting to. But it is interesting to me. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and throw the link over in the mod chat. I'm going to have to cam down for about a minute, maybe two, just really quickly. But the link is in the mod chat. The mods can go ahead and you guys can start. If you want, you can come up. If you don't want, that's fine too. It is in the mod chat right now. Go to go get a link. Come on up. In the meantime, I'm going to step away for just 1 minute. Not very long at all. You guys be cool. I'll be right back. And we're back, sports fans. Sorry about that. I knocked over my soda. I had to clean it up. I'm on Amazon ordering car parts. No, I spilled my soda, man. And it's all right. I knocked it over with my microphone boom when I was moving it around. It was less than 1 minute. Yeah, I'm fast. I just had to clean up the mess. We got. Oh yeah. Before I forget about it, I will be on the Reverie tonight. We're going to be debating the. I'll read you the entire prompt here in a minute, but it's obviously it's a prime Kai prompt, so it's like absolutely atrocious. But so while we're waiting for people to come up, if they're going to come up, if not, I'll just continue to monologue. The topic: tragically, this weekend, 2 teenage girls were found dead on the New York City subway train. Their apparent cause of death was subway surfing, in which individuals climb on top of subway cars as a stunt. This isn't the first such death. At least 3 have died this year, while 12 have died in the previous year. This is being driven by a TikTok challenge in which others post their videos attempting the stunt. The NYPD has tried to curtail this trend, but it continues nonetheless. A mother is suing TikTok for having these videos up, which she believes encourages children to perform these acts. Her son also died in an attempt. What should the societal response be to trends such as these? Is anyone outside of the children themselves responsible? Should society even have to adjust to account for the foolishness of others, or should everyone be left to their own devices? So, yeah. That's the prompt. Who's on his short list to debate Rob on my channel? I've never asked Rob to debate on my channel. We'll be debating on Modern Day Debate. But if I were going to have Rob over to debate somebody, I would probably, man, that's tough. Give me a minute on that one. That's a good question. That's a great question, Calvin. What's up, Clover Tack? How are you?
Yo. How are you?
Yeah. How have you been, man? I've been watching your content drivel across the screen.
Been busy.
I see that.
Yeah, I've been trying to get range bags and stuff packed today. I've got to leave Wednesday, headed to New Mexico for Ballistic Summit.
Okay.
So
that's cool.
Yeah.
Yep. You were surprised to see the bolt gun back there, I guess.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Yeah, I've got a few.
I think you've had that one back there before.
No, I hadn't. I just
Really?
pulled it out. I was I don't think I've had a bolt gun back. I had the Keltec back there.
Yeah.
But I haven't had a bolt gun back there.
Yeah, maybe. Do you have something else in a chassis, maybe?
No. Well, I mean, I've had I've had a couple of different ARs back there, but not bolt guns. I have a one of my favorite kind of all-purpose bolt guns is I have a Savage Axis first generation in 223, and I love that thing. Like
Really?
it is. it just
Really?
it's so accurate.
A first generation?
Yeah.
Have you replaced the trigger or done something with it?
No, but my trigger was never that bad. I mean, it's not the best trigger, but it's pretty good.
Right. Yeah.
It's pretty
Yeah.
good. It has the Savage. What is that? It's
Oh,
a
the Accu trigger?
Yeah, it's the Accu trigger.
It was a later model then, first gen.
I thought it was the first generation because it was the one that I had a lot of issue getting mags for it.
True first gens don't have Accu triggers.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure mine's got the Accu trigger. I'll go look at it because I'm pretty sure it does. Because it's got that little tab in the middle.
Got the dingus. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's got the dingus with the lightning bolt on it.
Right.
Pretty sure. But I had a lot of Savage. I don't have as many anymore. I thin the herd. And I've got a Howa 308 and it needs a new barrel. I'm like 90% sure.
Yeah.
So I think it's just shot out.
Probably. So, what's it chambered in?
308.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Man, you got to shoot a lot to burn out a 308.
I know. I mean, I've shot it a lot.
Yeah, you do. So I mean, it makes sense. For most people, that's not the case.
I probably got almost 2,000 rounds through that.
Yeah.
That barrel.
Lighter weight stuff, like 150 or less.
Yeah, 168 and down.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I had some like 125 or 120, 120 something grain.
Those could be rough on it. Yeah.
Like varmint rounds and
yeah, those could be rough on it if you shoot very many of those.
But it shoots it does not shoot the groups it should shoot. So
that's interesting. Yeah, I've had a Savage Model 10, and of course Savage Sharpshooters has done a lot of work on it, but dude, it's lights out. It's amazing.
I was shocked at how good the Axis was because that's like a cheap gun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, the ones with the Accu trigger are. When you said first gen, like the very first ones didn't have the Accu trigger. Yeah. Right. And now they may have added a Accu trigger before they went to the Gen 2s. That I don't know.
Yeah, I know for a Gen 2, and I just thought since I've had it for so long.
And I'll tell you how I know for a fact, right? It's personal experience. So back when those dropped, if you remember, the Ruger Americans dropped right about the same time. It was competition.
And I had the Mossberg too.
American, right? And and the Patriots did too. And I opted for the Rugers, and I ended up buying two. I opted for the Rugers because they had the better trigger at the time.
I had the Mossberg, and I hated it. I don't remember why. I think it was the trigger and the stock fit. I just didn't like it.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the Mossberg either.
I wanted to like it. But mine wasn't a Patriot. Mine was something else. And then they came out with a Patriot. And I liked it a lot better. So my Mossberg was almost identical to the Savage Axis. Synthetic stock.
Yeah.
I think it may have had a box mag. Maybe not. I don't remember. It's been a while.
Now, on 223, you're not that bad. But I will tell you this. I had to beef up my stocks on my Americans. And
I think that was the other problem with the Mossberg is it was in 308 and it had that really thin.
Oh, to beat you to death. Yeah. The 308, and I've got my 30-06. So I've got a 30-06 and a Ruger American, right? I bought a 308 and a 30-06. 30-06 will absolutely dislocate your shoulder before I did some stock work on it. I mean, it was unbearable.
Well, I used to tell people that all the time. I would take that Mossberg out and I would say, I dare any of you to shoot. And it was 308, right? So everybody's like, it's 308. Who cares? I dared people to shoot 10 rounds with it.
Yeah.
Dared them. And they're like, oh, that's no problem. I'd do that in my.
Well, they're cheap. I mean, you know what I mean? I mean, there's not a lot of material in the stock. There's a reason they were cheap rifles.
Dude, it was so bad. It was so bad.
Yeah.
And,
yep. But it's amazing what you can do with a little bit of lead shot and epoxy and that's what I
Yeah.
did with mine. Is I went into the channels and did lead shot and epoxy in the front end, and then went and actually used some PVC tube so that I could and epoxy that into the buttstock, and then was able to then adjust how much shot I had in the buttstock, which was a pretty neat little setup I did on mine, and they're solid.
It's I mean, it's interesting. I don't have my 308 AR dialed yet, but I've got a big brake on it. I've got the buffer tuned pretty well, and it's butter to shoot, to be honest. I mean, it's so good. But then I get behind a 308 bolt gun, and I'm like, this thing sucks. This thing actually sucks. But I can get behind that thing back there. That's a 300 short mag. And I'm pushing, so I shoot that, and that's going to need a new barrel too soon, because I've got probably 500 rounds through it, and it probably won't last. It's probably a 1,000, 1,200 round barrel with what I'm shooting, because I'm shooting a 208 grain boat tail hollow point match Hornady at 3,007 feet per second.
Yeah, that's a barrel burner.
Yeah, that's a lot. It's fast.
You're getting into that. You're getting into that territory anyway. Anything over 3 for sure.
Well, I mean, I have pressure sign. I have I have flat primers. I don't have true pressure sign, but I have flat primers.
Yeah,
and I'm telling you, man, that thing at 1,600 yards, it's not even a challenge with the 300 Wisdom, and I'm actually faster than a lot of the 300 Win Mags. I'm getting better performance than a lot of the 300 Win Mags, and they don't understand it. I'm like,
yeah,
I
like my I'm not a big short mag guy, but I do like my Weatherby mag. I like my 300 Weatherby mag. It'll get out there.
So Weatherby made a bunch of weird magnums back in like the late 60s and early 70s.
Yeah, they did. And that was even exacerbated by the people that played with those, right?
Mm-hmm.
What am I thinking?
While you're doing that, my uncle knew this marksman or sharpshooter, or whatever, sniper, whatever. I believe he was a Marine, and he didn't use an M14 or an M70. He was using a Weatherby, and I want to say it was in like something weird, like 416 or something like that. It was like just a ridiculous, basically an elephant gun,
right?
But it would shoot so far, and it was, I mean, obviously, it was overkill, but now, of course, with modernity, we've gotten to where we're using smaller and smaller bullets, and they go just as far or farther. 6.5 Creedmoor, look at what we're doing.
Yeah, you're able to do a lot with solid copper. You're able to extrude those out further. The ogive, you're able to do more with that than you once upon a time that you used to be, for sure.
Yeah,
we just got nerdy. Woo.
Yeah, I can get really. I can go down serious rabbit hole.
Somebody out there in the chat, tell me what the ogive is.
Yeah. And Arthur Dye wants to know, Clover Tack, any opinion on the Charlie Kirk shooting with regards to the ballistics used not matching up with the neck wound?
I do, and it'll be a world premiere. First time I've ever said anything publicly about it. I was thinking about doing something on my channel, but I was like, I find it fucking grotesque to even talk about the whole Charlie Kirk thing, because you run the risk of what a lot of these lefties are doing, which is, shilling or cashing in or monopolizing on it.
Yeah, I haven't watched any I've not watched any gun tuber content about it, because I think they're all guessing and just it's really bad taste.
when Herrera said he wasn't going to touch it, that's
Yep.
pretty much sealed it for me, and that was right out of the gate when he said that.
Yeah.
And I'm
I was
like,
in that boat.
yeah, okay, I'm on board with Brandon. I'm not going to touch it either. But since Arthur and I asked, so here's the thing that you have to realize is, while we don't really have a lot of info out there anyway, and we especially don't have info on the rounds that were not fired, right? So it would be interesting to know. And even if they do test those and they do measure all of that and get all the info, which I doubt very seriously they will. But if they do, there's still no guarantee the one that was fired was the same, right? We don't know that for sure. Could still be
And
the same
nobody
case.
has that information.
It could be the same
Literally
case.
Everybody is guessing.
Could be the same case, projectile look exactly the same and be two totally different loads,
Yeah.
right? So, but here's the thing. When you're talking about ballistics, projectiles do weird things. It is completely within the realm of not just possibility, but probability. And this is the part that I've said I've never said this publicly. So I'm going to tell this story. And it is, it's very interesting. And I didn't even realize this until maybe a week or two ago, quite honestly. But when I was in elementary school, there was a classmate that we live in the country. Obviously, we spent a lot of time, growing up and whatever in the river bottoms and stuff like that. There was a classmate one day that did not show up for school. And then we found out that he got shot. And he got shot with, believe it or not, a sporterized Mauser in 30-06 at less than 100 yards. And we're talking about an elementary kid. Mm-hmm. It hit him just above the knee and lodged in the bone. So this thing that, it would have blew a hole out, it would have blah, 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 blah. Like, he literally had one little entry hole that looked almost like you burned yourself with a cigarette. And then it lodged in the bone. Now he had a fracture because of it, obviously.
Sure.
Right? And thankfully it didn't clip arteries or do anything crazy like that. He ended up being okay. But because my particular class at that time was less than 30 kids, obviously, I knew this kid well. And I had spent the night at his house. He'd spent the night at my house. I knew the rifle that shot him. I had even shot the rifle that had shot him, right? Like I knew every minute detail of that situation. So having not seen that, because I wasn't there. I didn't witness it. And no, I was not the gunman. But having access to that information and knowing all of that happened, that tells me that anything's possible. And all this hoopla with the Charlie Kirk stuff is just bullshit to shill for views and money and clout and whatever. So fuck those people.
Yeah. So I've got a book called Hobby Gunsmithing. And one of the things that it talks about is how versatile a round 30-06 is, where you can load it over a few grains of powder and just stuff a BB in it, and you can shoot squirrels with it. Mm-hmm. You can
accelerator rounds. You can shoot various calibers, even.
Yeah, you can shoot. You have 25-06 which is a sabot round, which is a 25 caliber bullet and a 30 caliber rifle.
Well, you could shoot 223 out of it as well in a sabot.
Yeah, and so like, who's to say that it was a full? I mean, I personally think it was a full power round. It looks to me,
So it seems to me, here is logic, right? Mm-hmm. And we don't know this, okay? Mm-hmm. And that's the problem, is we don't know this. But here's the logic. It was Grandpa's converted Milsurp Mauser action 30-06. Stands to reason to me the ammo used was probably Milsurp 30-06.
And it could be very
Milsurp, very old, and Milsurp 30-06 was not as powerful as commercial 30-06. As your hunting load, if you was to go out to Walmart Bass Pro, wherever, and buy some, hornady whitetail, for example, or something in 30-06. Ballistically, that stuff is in a whole different league than old Milsurp ammo. So the type of rifle it was, it wasn't this grandiose rifle, and you don't need that to pull off what he pulled off. You've already discussed that on previous shows. You don't need the best, highest end equipment and stuff. That was a chip shot at worst. So but you could tell by the optic, you could tell by the rifle, you could just tell by anything. This was not some, well cared for competition set up, crazy, somebody that shoots all the time rifle. It just wasn't. And so that tells me that it's probably the cheapest of the cheap, and most likely wherever he procured the rifle, the ammo probably came along with it, and it being the Mauser, it was probably Milsurp style ammo. And it looks that way.
Yeah. Yeah, I just don't, I don't know enough about, and I've thought about this a lot because everybody keeps guessing at the angles and all of that. It's just,
well, I'm not going to get into, there's a lot of chatter in the chat asking about, jumping off the roof with a rifle and Erica's father.
Well, I'm
not even getting into that. That's not my space.
So,
I've spoken, not to quote the Ugnaught from Mandalorian, but I've spoken, right? We've talked about the gun.
I can
give me my anecdotal experience on that. Like all the other stuff, y'all conspiracy theory on that. Like Charlie's gone. It sucks. It's horrible. I don't care who did it. It was ridiculous either fucking way, whether it was a crazed leftist, provoked by, left-wing media, or it was, deep state sources or whatever it was. It was a horrible fucking thing. So, and much like Kennedy or whatever, are we ever going to know truly for sure? No, probably not. So,
I'm going to look, I'll say this. So first of all, to Anson's question about the rifle, we've been through the video 1,000 times. We did it here on the channel. I've done it with my friends, but we've been through it a couple of dozen times at least, maybe almost 100 times by now. You can very clearly see that he's carrying an object wrapped in a towel or a bag or something that he jumps down with.
Yeah.
And it kind of falls out of his hand and he picks it back up.
And so let me address something. And Joe Rogan, Texas turn of phrase, Joe Rogan, bless his heart.
Mm-hmm.
But I did see a clip from Joe Rogan that's like, there's no fucking way that, you know all the tools you have to take a gun apart. There's no way this kid climbed up on the roof and assembled a gun. What they mean by assembled the gun is they took a fucking stock screw loose, a flathead stock screw, right? Removes the stock from the barreled action, and then you've got a stock and a barreled action, and it drastically, by what, grit a foot at least, will it's compact the overall size you have to carry. So this whole idea that I've seen on Rogan, where it's kind of perpetuating this narrative that he assembled the whole rifle, like you've seen the movies where they open the case and you screw all this shit together, like that is not the case. You got to get that out of your head.
Well, I think also that there's people, it's just weird that people are they're creating narratives that actually go against what we know, right? They have video of him coming up the stairs without a gun. You know why? Because the gun was already there. He didn't sneak it in the day. Otherwise, people would have seen him walking across campus with it. Right. He obviously had to do it beforehand. Which we all thought originally. Everybody's like, oh yeah, they did it beforehand. Now everybody's like, no, he carried it in and some some sort of bag or something. But you don't see a bag in the where he's in the hallway. And then they talk about how he doesn't have it when he jumps off of the building, but he does, and you can see him carrying it before he jumps off the building, and then you see him jump off the building, and he stumbles, obviously, because he jumped off a building, and then you see it again. I mean, he's holding it down by his leg and kind of, looks like he's limping a little bit. But I mean, it's exactly how I would do it. That's the problem. Is that I'm like, yeah, that's how it would look if I did that. That's how it would look.
Well, and if you were a novice as well.
Yeah. Right. And
there's
then
there's nothing about this at all that screams. Now, there are comments out there that there were other people involved in some way, shape, form, and fashion. So people within the circle or something. I mean, that's within the realm of possibility. Sure.
I have a friend.
But as far as the positioning, as far as the shot placement that was made, as far as, because I don't believe that's where he was aiming, as far as the rifle used, the ammunition used, everything that I've seen is consistent with a quote unquote novice pulling this off.
Well, and so I have a friend of mine, and he is, I mean, he's kind of off the rails on this. And, personally, I think the way he's doing it, he's going after it to be a political figure. Right.
Yeah.
Which is fine. But he's like, he seems to think that somebody used like a, electronic solenoid gun to shoot. Like, it's just, he's got the wildest theory, the wildest.
Well, I'm going to throw another theory out there. Fuck it. Aliens did it.
Yeah, aliens fucking did it for sure.
Yeah. I'm not saying it was the aliens grid, but it was the aliens.
It was the aliens, yeah. I just I know what I can see in the videos. I know what and look, I heard there was no autopsy. Then they said there was an autopsy, and there were pictures of what supposedly are pictures from the autopsy that we absolutely cannot verify are pictures from the autopsy. And then there's like this whole thing about, well, who her dad is and all of this. I'm like, I mean, everybody has a fucking history.
Well, and you got to realize there is something else at play here, right? Two things can exist at the same time.
Sure.
Okay. And mixing the two together would be wrong, but two things can exist at the same time. So you can have a horrible, crazed leftist assassination on Charlie Kirk. At the same time, you can have people taking advantage of that situation.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean the two are linked. It's two totally separate issues, and both can happen at the same time. And both often in these types of situations happen at the same time. Like take Kennedy, for example, right? Like look at Johnson and the amount of crap. I mean, that's where we started getting, great society, and that's where really the country started going to shit, quite honestly.
I mean, if we want to be honest about it, I mean, all of the conspiracy theories are great and all, but the reality is that, do you know how hard it is to get the kind of organization that people are ascribing to these kinds of things? Like it's insane to think that it happens that way. And the number of people that are there, the number of people who see stuff, the number of people. Now there's a lot of other aspects there, but this is going to end up being just one of those things that there'll be a complete subset of people who absolutely believe nothing the government tells them about the murder. Right. So,
well, and that's fine that they don't, and
sure.
On some level they probably shouldn't,
right.
But then we go back to what I said when we first even started talking about this is it was an absolute horrible tragedy, regardless of all the details of what fucking went on, and that's what I try to focus on is that it was a horrible fucking tragedy.
Yeah.
Does it really matter at the end of the day?
Right. Yeah. I mean, honestly,
Charlie's gone. He's not coming back. Like I don't know that it matters.
Yeah, and I think that there's a lot of interesting things here. Like, for example, let's say that Anson, is just repeating conspiracy theories that he's heard. So what about the guy, the Israeli guy paying $1 million to the father of the suspect for turning him in? Do you have any proof that happened? I doubt that you do. First of all, and also it wasn't the father of the guy who turned him in. It was he went to some like church leader or something, and that guy got convinced him to turn himself in. And you know, then it was the dude's dad was a cop. No, he's not a cop. He's like a laborer or something, but they've got a friend that's a cop, and that's who he actually turned himself into. Right. So there's like 4 people that get combined into one superhero dad who's a cop who convinces his son to turn himself in or whatever. And it's just really weird. Right. How the conspiracy theories spring out of versions of the truth. So,
well, that's the whole root of it, right? Conspiracy theories always have a nugget or a grain of something.
Yeah, there's always some truth. Yeah.
You know, the problem is, or multiples, but the problem is it's not put together, formed together in a cohesive way. And then, you know, nowadays we've got the problem of what is true, because with social media and just the flood of misinformation and the crap that's out there, you know, there's things that, you know, look to be true. And I point fingers at even the lamestream media, right? You know, Fox News included with this, you know, Sky News included. I'll tell you something. Speaking of that, is the Blaze. Let's use this because I haven't talked about this either, and it annoyed the fuck out of me. So whatever the heavier set black dude is on the Blaze, I don't watch the guy. I don't know. I know the Blaze for like Beck and basically that's it. I listened to Beck back in the day, but I was watching TMZ live when all of this went down, and there was TMZ live, of course, is a big, huge office, and they, of course, live stream what all's going on, and there was some cheering that happened close to the time that Charlie Kirk was announced dead, not when he was announced shot, but when they said he had died. And the Blaze, at least this particular person, I'm not blaming the Blaze as a whole, but this particular person's show put it on to TMZ. Now, this was after the fact, a week or two later, put it on to TMZ that TMZ was celebrating. And TMZ explained that off at the time that it happened. They were like, you know, this is surreal. And you could tell the folks on TMZ were freaked the fuck out. Like they were doing this live. And you know, they did not expect it. They were live when this happened. It's not like this happened and they went live, right? And they were live just like they are every single day. And, you know, they addressed that before any of this. So the Blaze, that particular individual, they got the timing wrong on this. They weren't there live, so they didn't get the context behind everything. Nothing. And they were blaming TMZ for celebrating Charlie Kirk's death. And it's like, what? So I say that the same as I told the story of the classmate that got shot. I say that to say that, to just back up that it doesn't matter if it's Fox News, The Blaze, fucking Sky News, or if it's MSNBC, CNN, or whoever the fuck, right? Like, this goes back to not only trusting what the government says, but absolutely being critical of what any, myself included, but any other source tells you. You need to go vet your own information, period.
Yeah. The chat just can't stop talking about nuggets, so I'm probably going to have to swing by what is that, Chick-fil-A later and grab some nuggies.
Maybe tomorrow, yeah. Do you get the fried ones or the grilled ones?
I do I like the grill. I like the fried ones. The grilled ones are weird.
The grilled ones are weird. So I did, because I'd been kind of trying to get back on the wagon of watching what I eat. The grilled ones are a little better for that, right? And man, I got some for the first time. I don't know, it's probably a couple months back, and I'll never get them again. I'm like, these are just, they got no flavor, dude. They're like,
so I've been I've really ramped up my workout programs and all of that, and
I have not.
So originally I started back, I was doing 5 days a week, and I would do 2 workouts a day. I'd do 1 workout in the gym, and then I would do a second workout at home on my tonal machine. And I could have done both of them at home. I
fancy?
just like going to the gym. What's that?
I said, ain't you fancy with the tonal machine?
Yeah.
I just go work outside.
Yeah, and I did that too, and I was walking a lot, so I was dropping weight pretty good. The problem is that doing 2 workouts a day, I was eating up a lot of time. Plus, I would be sore because I wasn't really taking a day of recovery. So now I've switched to 3 days a week, and I do morning actual like workouts, and then in the afternoon I'll do like a cardio or something.
Yeah,
and I do I still do cardio 5 days a week, but only but weight training only 1 day. But I'm down. So since my trip to Alaska that was in June, I think.
Yeah.
May, maybe the end of May, but I think it was the first or second or third week of June, something like that. Since then, I'm down. Let's see, 20, right at 20 pounds, maybe 25 pounds. Let me think. Let me do some math.
Yeah, you're probably closer to 25 because I've heard you talk about that before.
So I was at 235. No, 243. And then I am currently at 215.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I found every bit you lost. I tell you that. I've got to get back. Just, I don't know. This is busy time of the year for me. And so starting to get that way. And it's just one thing's led to another.
Yeah, you seem busy.
You know, I'm not unhealthy or anything, but at the same time, there's weight I need to get off, especially for the holidays, because man, that's a rough time. They're talking about chicken nuggets out there, and I'll tell you, if you're looking for low carb, keto-ish, whatever you want to call it, option, one of the things I really, really love, and you can do them very easily in an air fryer. You can also freeze them. Do a lot of things with them. Get you either some whole chicken breast or get some breast fillets, and fresh, of course, and cut those up into nuggies, right? Use a combination of coconut flour and orange pepper, and coat them. Dry them off, of course, and then coat them, and then turn around and go into an egg wash, and then coat them with finely processed, whatever you want to call it, food processed or ground up, hot and spicy pork rinds. And then, holy shit, put those in the air fryer. Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. One of my favorite things ever, dude. And they're pretty low carb.
I'm carb reduced, but I'm not no carb, because I literally like right now I'm hitting right around 150 to 200 grams of protein a day.
Yeah. Well, carbs are, everybody's different, right? So you got to understand that first. So you got to figure out what works for you. But typically speaking, getting off carbs and staying off carbs for, 2 or 3 weeks, and then slowly reintroducing a little bit is not too terribly bad. For most people, you don't want, you got to be careful with introduction of carbs because of insulin resistance, right? Like an insulin spike or whatever. And I'm not saying that from a diabetic standpoint. I'm saying that for a whole medical, health related, trying to diet standpoint. You kick your body back into those sugar cravings, so to speak, and you're gonna be in trouble. So I like Buddha's idea. He said steak nuggets. Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, I like those. I get those.
That would be beef tips, probably.
Yeah, the beef tips from like Steak and Shake or somewhere like that. Man, they're great.
Yeah,
they're awesome. Yeah, beef tips are awesome. But yeah, I do. I got to be honest with you, man. It's boring to talk about, but I get a lot of protein from yogurt right now.
Nah, gross, man. My wife makes her own yogurt.
Oh yeah.
Now, yeah, and has been for a while. But I can't get on board with yogurt, man. There's a tang with yogurt that I can't handle.
Yeah.
And it's really weird. It's really weird because I'll go eat the shit out of some frozen yogurt.
Huh. I do the like the Greek yogurts, like
yeah.
I forget what the brand my wife gets me is, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I can't remember either. My wife was doing those Greek yogurts before she started making her own.
Yeah. I don't actually care much for yogurt, but it is what it is.
But we've got her sister and brother-in-law have a dairy, so we get fresh milk. So we make butter, and of course we get buttermilk because that's a byproduct of that. And,
yeah,
a lot of that you can.
That's where you're putting on those pounds drinking that buttermilk, man.
I don't drink the buttermilk. I'll every grade once in a while I make some buttermilk biscuits, but it's every grade once in a while.
I never could understand how people could drink buttermilk, man. It is the worst possible taste to me. It's like
buttermilk and cornbread. That's a big thing.
Yeah, buttermilk cornbread. That's a whole other subject. I'm talking about drinking straight up.
I said buttermilk and cornbread.
Buttermilk and cornbread. Yeah, I don't know. Still not.
Yeah,
still not
people
there.
around here will grab their cornrbread. They'll break it up in a bowl, pour buttermilk over the top of it.
My stepdad used to do that. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I can't. Can't do it. Yeah, I'm not a big straight. I mean, using buttermilk in things. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Not straight. Can't take it. Nope.
No, but I do love the fresh milk. I will say that. And to me, it's better than the stuff you get at the store. There's so many, antibiotic and this is added and that is added and
Can you sell raw milk in Texas?
Yeah.
Okay. Some states you can't. Like, I think we have people that come up from Alabama to buy milk in Tennessee because in Tennessee it's legal to, or maybe it's Georgia. One of the states below us, it's illegal for them to sell non-pasteurized milk.
Yeah. Huh.
But here, it's fine. Yeah, we can sell all non-pasteurized milk you want, raw milk.
Yep.
So
it's good, man. If you never had, I mean, whether it's pasteurized or not, I mean, fresh milk, if you haven't had fresh milk, like, oh my God, man, go find you a dairy and get you some fresh milk. Because here's the other thing that's really cool about fresh milk is, they don't really separate out. That's the thing about store-bought milk is they separate out the fats, right? And so that's your cream and your whatever. And so like fresh milk is like almost like half and half or something. It's nuts, great with my morning coffee. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
Oh my God, in a bowl of cereal or something. Just good stuff.
It's interesting. But it's interesting you say that because I my wife will occasionally get that 2% milk, and I'm like, what are you doing? That is gross. Is gross. What are you doing? And but she'll do it. I just can't. I can't do it.
Yeah,
just can't do it.
Yeah, but Buddha says if he goes 2 or 3 hours without carbs, he's feeling hangry. You got to fight through it. You eventually, and that's why I say if you could fight through 2 or 3 weeks and then kind of reintroduce on a smaller level, your body gets accustomed to it pretty quickly. You just have to fight through it. It's tough though.
Yeah. You can actually. So I did keto for a while a few years ago, and I never got the keto flu, but so many people, dude. I know people that have had just horrible keto flu.
Yep.
So.
Yeah. So everybody reacts differently, and once you kind of get a combination of things under control, You just experiment, and the problem is I think people just don't stick with it, and it's a matter of having the discipline to be able to stick with things and see if they're
Yeah, it's
working.
expensive.
know.
You end up having to cook.
True.
You know.
Yeah, if you got to go to the gym, like it's $50 a month for the gym membership.
Yeah.
And my wife does better with the gym. I do so much work around here that I'm always walking and tugging and lifting and pulling and
Sure.
whatever. That I don't need the gym quite as much, and if I do need the gym, it's more of like a weightlifting, more of a strength training
Yeah.
type thing than cardio for sure. But she'll go and just walk on the treadmill and things like that, right?
So
yeah.
Before I forget about it, Clover Tack, before we because the food stuff's cool, but I gotta ask you about Ben Stager. You seen the Ben's because you're in the YouTube or the gun tuber world.
but you know as well as I do. See, here's the difference. Y'all space here because you're always fucking talking about this person or that person and what they said on their show, and the fucking chat out there is the same way. Y'all are way too tied up and involved in all these other people's shows. That's the nature of this space, and I get it.
Yeah.
The GunTuber world ain't that fucking way. Like, I don't watch.
Apparently, Ben Stager
shit.
thinks
I don't
it is.
fucking care what they do. He does, but whatever. Bigger channels tend to fucking think that because a lot of them think they're bigger shit than they actually are. But
yeah, so old Stager apparently had an ex-girlfriend release a video of him acting batshit crazy.
Yeah,
and it has ripped through, especially the competition shooting world.
I haven't even seen it. I don't guess.
I didn't take the time to see it because I just watched his video on it. He's pretty accurate about describing it from what I understand. It's basically he was drunk. He was really, really tired after he had been he had been training people. He'd been doing classes for like a solid week or some shit and flown all over the place. And he was just really tired, and he got home and he was tired of her shit. And basically told her, I'm tired of your shit. And he kind of spazzed out. There's something about his parents. I think his parents were somehow involved. And, he went to, and he actually says he went to therapy. He had to get some things under control. He had some, whatever problems he had. I don't care. But they end up breaking up. And because he had been in therapy, the way they broke up with her was he wrote her a letter and just like left, basically just left. Like he put it on her nightstand or whatever and just fucking left because, that's what his therapist said, just not to get entangled, not to have the drama, not to do any of that. Right. So he was just like going to go teach a class somewhere. And he just, on the way out the door to get on the airplane, he just left her a, "Hey, I'm not going to be back" letter. And, but he wasn't living with her. And I don't know why now. I don't know why it's all come forward now, really, because this has been years ago. And apparently there's a video of him, screaming his head off and acting like a child. But apparently he had another ex-girlfriend come out and since this video's come out saying that he was not nice to her, maybe even abusive. She doesn't come out and say that, but it can be read in. And it's really an interesting dynamic because he goes through the whole thing and he's basically like, "Look, I said what I said. I got help. Fuck them." Like the whole thing is like, yeah, it's just the way it is. And he's like, "I'm in a much better place now. I'm happy. I do what I want to do." He's like, he freely admits that he wasn't a good boyfriend back when he was dating the Crystal chick. But by the way, if you're dating a chick named Crystal, are you really just dating a stripper? I don't know. I got to understand this because it's a chick named Crystal. That's right. A stripper name, right?
Or a drunk.
Yeah, right. And so I don't know, but Steger's all over it, man. He's just like, yeah, whatever, you know.
I don't watch him, but you're in that space, so
Yeah, well, he comes through on my feet. Well, I took a class with him. This is very funny. So I took a class with him, and I told him straight up, I'm a 3-gunner. I'm taking this class so I can get better with pistol and movement, and no other reason. Like, I don't need to hit. I'm not a C shooter hoping to be a B shooter. I'm not a B hoping to get to A. I'm not an A hoping to get master. I just don't give a fuck. Right? Like, I literally I'm just here for the training. And he didn't pay any attention to me. He was a lot younger. I mean, obviously this was 10 years ago, maybe 12, but he says, we run the first set of drills, and he comes to me, he says, is this your first time with USPSA? And I'm like, no, I shoot 3-gun, because I wasn't shooting alphas, right? Like, I wasn't shooting all alphas. And he's like, we shoot alphas here. He's like, you shoot A's. I'm like, all right. And so after that, I don't think I dropped but maybe 3 or 4 A's the whole rest of the time, because he didn't. First of all, I was going to be a dick and just prove to him I could, because apparently he didn't think I could shoot A's. But anyway, it's funny. And we had a great. We ended up having a rapport by the end of the week. And it freaked him out that I made my hits moving better than I did, standing still. Like the way that they teach you in USPSA is you run to a position, you shoot all of these targets, you dynamically move to the next position, you shoot all these targets.
Yeah, post up. Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't do that. I'm like, I'm rolling, right? Like I'm moving as much as possible. I will post up, but I have to, like, it hurts my brain to stop on course and just sit there. Right. And because I can just feel the seconds like ticking away.
Right.
And it just amused him so much that I was better shooting on the move than I was standing still. And it was really funny. Had a great time with it.
Yeah.
But I like Ben. I actually do like him. I know his ex-wife has been on the show.
Yeah.
So we did not talk about Ben.
Probably a good call. Yeah. Now I say that with the space you have over here, it would have fucking fit right in.
I know, right? I should have had them both on.
The Grid Springer show over here.
Yeah, should have had them both on and just had them finally have it out publicly. So I don't think there's any animosity between them anymore, but right. I don't know. Ben's talking a lot of shit but the thing is he used to talk a lot more shit. He seems way more even now than he used to be. He called out all of USPSA's RO cadre because this RO basically set it up so that this to DQ this guy, it was one step away from being like obviously purposeful. Mm-hmm. So if you can picture, an array that's kind of off to one side and the guy's drawing from appendix, which is legal in USPSA, drawn from concealment. But you're supposed to tell the RO that, and you have to be very careful when you're turning, or you have to, there's a rule in USPSA that says when drawing, you can get away with kind of the 180 doesn't really exist, right? Because otherwise you really couldn't draw because you're going to flag your leg or whatever. Mm-hmm. And so the guy draws, and the minute the gun clears the holster, the guy says stop and DQs him on the spot. And Steger rightly calls it out for being dirty pool. The RO should have made sure that the shooter knew what he was doing, where he was going, all of that. And the guy was perfectly safe, but it was just shitty ROs being shitty ROs.
Yeah.
And I like that Steger pointed it out.
Yeah. Well, all of that whole game kind of works the same with, as refs with any other sport.
Yeah.
You got shitty people out there. Things can go sideways. That's my back in my days. Most of mine consisted of precision type stuff, and like we didn't have to deal with that. We didn't have to deal. I mean, we had 180s. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
But when you're static target, that sort of thing, it's much different situation.
Well, I think the most hilarious thing to me is when I get a
much.
bunch of military guys on the range for a competition, and they've been training, and they have what's called a safety circle. Have you heard that? You aware of that?
Mm-mm.
So the safety circle is an imaginary circle that surrounds you, your feet, and as long as the gun is pointed down within that circle, you're good.
Mm.
You can move any direction you want. You can go up range, down range, sidewards, spin around 3 times, doesn't matter.
All right.
Well, in normal people, we have the 180 rule. And we don't care where the muzzle is, right?
Yeah.
And so I was at a match down at the Arena Training Center. It was probably like 2000. I don't know, probably like 2017, maybe somewhere along in there, 2018. And this guy had just completed a training and I know that he had to have just completed a training evolution. I think he was law enforcement. He could have been mil, but I think he was law enforcement. And he decided to shoot the match with us, and he comes out. So he did it. He did it first with his pistol, right? He comes out of this little building, like a telephone booth sized building that you had to shoot out of, and he comes out and the gun's pointed straight down, but he's literally facing uprange, like towards everybody. Mm-hmm. And he turns around and he just keeps going. And then he finishes up pistol, goes to rifle. He does the same thing with rifle. He's got it down. I mean, he's, as far as I'm concerned, totally safe. But that's not the rules of the game.
Right. Yeah.
And so I had to tell the RO, I was like, hey, you're going to have to say something to that guy. Yep. And so they did. And they did the right thing, which was tell him, hey, just, be aware you're playing a game here, and the safety circle doesn't exist here. The 180 rule does, and blah, blah, blah. And sure enough, we get to the shoot house, and what does that fucker do? We get to like 3 stages later. He gets into the shoot house, and he literally does. He just falls into his training, goes into full safety circle mode, runs back towards an RO with his gun down.
Oh.
And the RO didn't even think about it. The RO just got out of his way and kept it going. And I'm like, so I went over to the main RO, and I was like, hey, you got a problem here. You need to do something about that. And they had to, he got mad that time, and they had to eject him from the match.
Right.
Yeah. So it's just a weirdness, when you do different sports and games and things like that, you got to keep a bunch of rules in your head.
I want to address 2 things from Buddha
in
the chat. I'm not picking on Buddha, but it's a good time to add some well experienced, educated opinion, if nothing else. The first one is he was talking about violence at 5 to 25 yards. 333 has been the accepted rule for a very long time. It's backed up by a lot of FBI data, stats, and other things. 3 yards, 3 rounds, 3 minutes. And so a lot closer even than what he's talking about for sure. And then the other thing, when he says treat every weapon as if it's loaded, how the fuck do you clean it? That's what I want to know. How the fuck do you transport it? So there, while I get the premise of that, we have to be a little more careful with the nuance, because that's where we get into, in my opinion, when we tell people a lot of these rules, we act like they're completely unbreakable, and they're hard and fast, and there's absolutely nuance, because that's great. But I mean, if you're certain situations, it's just absolutely not possible. And cleaning is probably the biggest one. So
it's very interesting because I hear people say things like that, assume the 4 golden rules, where there weren't four golden rules. Cooper only
I
outlined
subscribe to
3.
the 3. Yeah. NRA through Hunter's Education more than anything added the third, the fourth. The fourth assumes that you're not on a range, basically.
Yeah. The 4th assumes that you're out hunting and had to follow like a don't shoot within 100 feet of a house or some shit.
Right.
100 yards of a dwelling or whatever the fuck.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Know your target and what's behind it. If anybody out there is curious, we're talking about know your target and what's behind it.
Yeah.
Muzzle, action, trigger. And here's the thing, and here's why the whole flagging and whatever. If that gun is empty, if there's a chamber flag in it, if the magazine is out, then what the fuck? It doesn't matter if you're pointing it.
Right.
It doesn't fucking matter.
Well, you can't imagine the arguments that I've had over this.
Any one of those 3 mitigate the chances of an accident to virtually 0.
Mm-hmm.
Any one of those 3, let alone a combination of 2 or all 3.
So that's a great point. So I have had to range legislate so many times when you sling a rifle, right? There's no way to sling and unsling a rifle on a range without flagging 100 people.
Mm-hmm.
There just isn't, right? Everybody on the range is going to get flagged when you're slinging and unslinging rifles. So the way that you make sure that rifle, there's 3 things that you can do. You can have the RO make the shooter go bolt forward, safety it, and then you can insert a mag then, right? That's no different than a shotgun with a loaded tube. So it's empty chamber, loaded mag, you're good. I don't like that, but it's been good. The other way is, empty mag well, verified empty chamber, bolt forward, and you're good. And the third way is some sort of flag in it, which is stupid on the range. And so when we're running and gunning with these things, like literally the rifle's a stick. We consider it a stick. If you drop it, if you throw it, whatever you do with it, as long as it's either flagged or has been verified by an RO that it is empty, do whatever you want with it. And the magazine changes things because it's technically not empty at that point, but and you could have
well, I'll tell you, there was a big stink here. Buddha out there, he's talking about off the range and around people. That was a big thing here. There was a detective, a fairly portly fellow, not fairly, he was 100% portly, that carried in a shoulder holster that was horizontal. And the department made him quit doing that, or he had to wear his jacket all the time, because what he would do is it's fucking Texas, and he would take his jacket off a lot, right? And people behind him in line, you get what I'm saying? Yeah. And there was a lot of reports, just people just super uncomfortable with that. And I understand it. I mean, I'm not really one of those people. I'm not going to stand directly fucking behind him. He may be carrying a P320 for all I know. Ha ha. But I mean, I would stand behind him. I just wouldn't stand directly behind him. But they eventually, changed their policy where they can do verticals, but they can't do horizontals anymore. So like I get it. It's holstered, like nothing should happen, right?
Yeah,
but you never know.
Well, so that's another. Well, so that is a rule requirement in three gun. I don't know about USPSA, but you can't you can't go prone with a loaded pistol because you're facing back towards people. The barrel is you now have a loaded gun pointed at people, holstered or not.
Right.
You now have a loaded gun pointed at people.
Right.
And so we don't allow that. Now, could something happen in a holster? Probably not. Is there a possibility that, you're sitting there, jacking around trying to get into position and the stick gets in there and pushes the trigger the wrong way? Could happen. Yeah, so why risk it? So you can't go prone with a loaded pistol. The other now, have you ever heard of the Ninja cock feature with the 2011s?
Yeah. Air rack.
Yeah. I can actually do it. I can just like that, and it'll chamber a fucking round.
Yeah.
And I didn't believe it. And some Glocks will do it too. If you drop a fully loaded Glock,
that's been a thing for a long time. Yeah.
It hits the grip
really
just right, and it'll chamber a round.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been a thing. I can remember handguns being able to do that 40 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't believe it, but I actually saw it done once, and a guy got DQ'd for it because the gun was verified empty at the start. So it's empty chamber loaded mag and or mag inserted. And he took a tumble, and the gun comes flying out of the holster, and when he picked it up and cleared it for the RO, it was chambered. And that was fun. But yeah, it's I mean, gun safety is a very strange thing. I think that more people get shot trying to observe gun safety than probably people would realize.
Well, you have to be prepared. And who was it? Nate out there, I think, that said anybody with any level of intelligence is not going to have an accident with a firearm, and I would tend to agree with that. But also, with any degree of intelligence, if you've got somebody new, and I have this happen all the time and have my entire life, you get somebody new out on the range, and yes, you preach those safety rules, right? I'm not saying you don't adhere to them and you don't remember them and whatever, but inevitably you're going to get, more often than not, people that ask seemingly stupid questions. And there's no stupid questions if you're ignorant and you're trying to learn. But they're going to ask things that fall into that nuance because they're like, okay, we get it.
Right.
And
but
so,
even so-called experienced people, like, the only actual ADs I've ever seen on the range, and the only person I've ever seen to actually shoot themselves on a range were law enforcement officers.
Oh yeah. But they get very little training. Let's be honest.
Right. But they carry a gun every day.
Yeah. Okay. That's right.
And so the officer who shot himself was using a Serpa holster. And he had that same horrible habit.
So
pulled out. He drew the gun, and because he was in a hurry, as he drew, the trigger hit and it popped off and took a little chunk out of the thigh.
The law enforcement, yes, they carry every day. Problem with law enforcement is they don't shoot every day.
That's right.
And most gun owners that carry shoot far more regularly than law enforcement officers do. So they've got a little more practiced experience with the safety and the other things. And that's where making sure people have the basics, right? And then they'll figure a lot of it out. But I mean, if you could help them sidestep those potholes, it works a little better.
Yeah. I'll never forget that though. I was I have been exceedingly biased.
And we've all had NDs, we've all had accidents. If you spend any kind of time, like it's going to happen, and the first time it happens, it's going to freak you the fuck out.
See, my ND story is I had somebody hand me a rifle, and I was sitting down in a building, and it was a concrete floor covered by carpet. And a guy handed me a rifle, and he said there was no mag in it. He said he had cleared it. So I went hammer down, and it fired a frangible round right between my feet.
Wow. Yeah, that's rough.
I got lucky that it was frangible, right? Like we're doing training on steel targets indoors. So all of the ammo that we're using was frangible. So you just turned to dust. But if it hadn't been, it'd have been bad. But even that frangible round made a divot in the concrete.
Right.
So
yeah, I can the beauty if you can say that, use that word or whatever, the good thing, I guess, with NDs, if you are again practiced, is muzzle direction.
Yeah.
You know, uh, I can think of 2 NDs I've had, and both were, well, one was technically not an ND. That was a reloading issue. The primer was not seated fully. Is what that ended up being. Pretty sure, because it went off when I racked the slide. And then, but the other one was absolutely 100% an ND. My bad, my fault. But both were in, like you were talking about, were in quote unquote safe directions. I mean, one was in the ground, the other one was through the floor of an outbuilding. So, like, who cares about that? But didn't damage anything. Obviously, wasn't injured. And I've seen, I mean, good Lord, if you're on the range at any given time even in our club, on our range days for the club, we would have, at least 100, sometimes close to 200 kids on the range at any given time. And, I've been to competitions with 700 or 800. And it happens. And it's interesting that NDs happen. And I'm using NDs to encompass malfunctions and
ADs, all of
mechanical. Yeah. Unintentional discharges, I guess, would be a better way to put it, right? All categories. And so, but never have I seen anything that did any kind of damage to life, limb, or property. The worst thing that I've seen, believe it or not, was at an archery tournament. And a guy got an arrow through the rear quarter panel, or what do you call it, a bed, I guess. It's like quarter panel, but of his pickup.
Oh, I had when I was a kid, we were with, I was out hunting with some kids, and this guy climbed in the truck because he was cold. He didn't realize how cold he really was, and he was trying to unload his rifle, and he pulled the trigger somehow. I'm not really sure. It was a lever action rifle, so I'm assuming that he just bumblefucked it up and put a hole
back.
Yeah, and he put a hole through the floorboard of the truck into the front tire.
Oh, wow, that's crazy.
Good old 30-30.
Floorboard wouldn't be that bad, but it's like, fuck, now you got to go get a tire patched or something.
Yeah. And I felt bad for the kid because I think it's like his first time hunting ever. It's just like one of those things like, hey, we're going to take this kid hunting. And I was probably 16, 17. And it was me and my uncle whose farm it was. It was this guy named Lee, who was just another adult guy out there helping wrangle teenagers. And it was his truck that got shot. So, that's what you get for helping sometimes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, you wouldn't think that, this was probably a 60-pound bow, maybe.
Yeah.
And, man, you wouldn't think that so you could put an arrow through the outer shell of a truck bed.
Oh, I would.
With a bow. Well, I mean, most people wouldn't. I know you would, but holy crap, dude. But, if you think about it, though, when that happened, what got me to thinking was medieval days, right? Suits of armor. Dude, some archers draw down on you, especially with those crossbows and shit they had back in the day. Of course, they had armor-piercing arrow tips and shit back then, too. But, big, long steel tips that were crazy. But, armor doesn't do a whole lot of good against arrows, metals and things like that.
Have you seen there's a guy who was testing ballistic armor versus various like arrows, crossbows, that kind of, like non-conventional weapons.
Probably defeated most of it, didn't it?
It defeated most of it. There was like one arrow that like it got in there. So
No, I meant the arrows probably defeated most of the.
Yeah, a lot of it definitely defeated all of the
It's not
soft bombers.
designed. It's not designed for that, and that's what a lot of, especially after seeing that. We talk about civil unrest, the world falling apart, apocalyptic scenarios, and that's what I'm talking about. Like a bow, or like what's his name on Walking Dead, like a bow or a crossbow, dude. Like, don't give a shit about your body armor, short of like steel plates or something.
Yeah, you have to have plates.
Like steel plates, maybe, but Kevlar, you're screwed.
Oh yeah.
I would venture to guess that even with ceramic, you would very likely be screwed. I've never
the ceramic,
seen an arrow
it takes
shot.
a couple of hits, but it will eventually get through it.
Well, with the tip, that's the thing with the ceramic. Is it going to crack enough that the continued momentum of the arrow is going to go through?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to look that back up.
I've never seen an arrow shot at ceramic. That'd be I may go have to YouTube that here in a little bit and see if anybody's ever done it.
Yeah.
But I know if you've got the right type of tip, and the thing is long and thin, right? If you've got a really long taper to that point, like a broadhead or something, you'd probably be okay. Field point, maybe even, you'd probably be okay. But if you had some type of a long spike tip on that thing,
like a trocar tip,
dude, you could do some damage.
So the topic of today originally started. I was gonna go a different direction with it, but I got caught up.
Yeah, I hijacked it too. So
yeah. So the idea is safety is third, right? Because nothing gets done if safety is first. Everybody says safety is first, but safety is never first. So otherwise you'd never get off your couch. And and sometimes it's a very distant third, maybe even fifth thing on the list. And it kind of came up the other day because I was out riding my motorcycle, and I got back, and then I worked on my other motorcycle because I'm ready to get it going. And I get back and I'm about to take a shower, and I get a message from a friend of mine who has just had a motorcycle accident about a week or so ago. And he got T-boned on his motorcycle by a minivan. So he's laid up. All of his gear did what it was supposed to do. He didn't actually have a scratch on him, but he broke like an arm. And his other arm has like a hairpin. Hang on, let me see if I can pull it up. I'll tell you what, because it was kind of amazing. And he was talking about how, and this is because you hang out with older folk. I'm interested in your perspective on this, because his perspective is that the cars have gotten so good that people driving no longer really pay attention. And because you have alerts to tell you if you're getting close to somebody, you have
blind spot. But one of the worst things, I'll tell on my wife here, one of the worst things that my wife does is she will just switch lanes. And so she doesn't realize a lot of times that you have to put your blinker on in enough time for the alarm to even go off. Like in this particular car, if you don't have your blinker on, like there's a delay, right, with the blind spot alarm. And if she doesn't even really check mirrors, like she trusts that shit. And like, no, like I'm looking blind spot. I don't give a fuck if the little lights on the mirrors are on or not. And I'll always signal in enough advance, provided I've got time. If it's, what do you call it? Defensive driving. Sometimes you don't have time to, right? But
yeah. So Mikey Balls, I actually told Ryan about you. So my buddy's name is Ryan Heinrich. He's been on the show before. He is a tuner of RX-7s, and he does a bunch of different automotive performance stuff. And this is, I'm going to read you the set because this is very funny. I mean, not funny. It's kind of tragic, but so I'm asking him about, I'm like, what happened? And he's like, One of our buddies was nice enough to snag some footage of our early afternoon warm up run. That's me leading at a safe overview pace. He sends me the video. I'll put it up at some point if I can to inspect the road. Truly the happiest I've ever been just living. And then hours later, a minivan decides to T-bone him. Basically, he's going this way. She's coming up on this is a 4-lane divided road. She comes up and just instead of pausing in the middle as she makes her turn, she just whips through and catches him. And the bike was pretty fucked. It's very much like what Mikey Ball. Mikey Ball's like, that's exactly what happened to me. So Ryan's laid up for 3 months. I've got some pictures of his bike. I'm going to see if I can't display those. So let me. The screen buzzed. I don't know what was going on. Anyway, let's see. Can't really make these full screen. I don't think. Let me see if I can open these in full. Yeah, it's all right. So we'll just do it this way. I'm going to share this screen. Now, you don't ride motorcycles, do you, Clover Tack?
Not anymore. No.
Yeah. So, all right. So here's my buddy in the hospital room, just hanging out with his buddies. Wrong button. Wrong button. Why isn't this letting me scroll through the? There it is. There's his bike. It's a Triumph Speed Street Triple. So he obviously got hit pretty good. That thing is jacked. And there he is trying to smile where he got bounced off the highway. And he's going to be down for like 3 months. So that's what's up. Yeah, it's way unfortunate. Yeah.
Wow.
So it's, that's why motorcycles should be illegal. No, I don't think so. But it is interesting. And he sends me this message about how people are just so disconnected from driving because of all the nannies, all of the electronics, all of the everything that they just don't don't pay attention.
And compound that with your phone,
right. And all the media going on, right? Like you're getting text, you're talking to people on the phone, you're doing all that stuff.
And it's not just your handheld, like let's say your phone, but also think about
entertainment.
Thinking about it's called an entertainment center or infotainment center.
Infotainment, in your car. Yeah.
So like you're playing with that. I mean, back in the old days, the radio dial was enough. You know what I mean? Or the air conditioning controls.
I almost had somebody hit me this morning.
Now you've got so many different doodads and switches and gizmos in a car too to divert that attention.
Yeah. And that's so it's I'm gonna try and get Mike on here, or not Mike. Sorry, Mike Balls can come and go anytime he wants. We've got Ryan. I was gonna try and get Ryan on here at some point after he can go home.
Well, he's got 3 months, so
yeah, he's got 3 months to be laid up. So I almost got rear-ended this morning. It was it's not funny, but it's interesting because I talked to this guy yesterday. I'm driving to the gym this morning. I'm in my Mini Cooper S, which is bright fucking red. Okay. Now I will admit that it's an overcast day, but I got my lights on. I'm in a bright red fucking Mini Cooper. Like, bright fucking red. And this pickup truck with no lights on, which is the law in Tennessee. You're supposed to, if it's overcast or dark, dark outside, gray, whatever, you're supposed to have your lights on. No lights on, no nothing. I saw him almost have to dive onto the shoulder of the road to avoid hitting me. So it's, it doesn't matter if it's a car or whatever. People are just so distracted while they're driving, right? And so you just got to pay attention all the time. I was ready to get out of that guy's way. Like I was going to go somewhere because I was watching him get closer and closer in my rear view. I'm like, what the fuck?
Right. I get so much shit because my phone goes in the seat or goes wherever, and I don't pick it up until I get where I'm going.
Yeah.
And I'll pick it up a lot of times, and it'd be like, "Why didn't you text me back right away?" Or what, because it'll maybe an hour between stops or something.
Yeah.
And it's like, look, I don't play on my phone. Like, I've got the nav system in the dash. Like, I don't need it for that. Like,
yeah.
I
will. I have an automatic on my phone. It'll say I'm driving or I'll call you back or whatever. But I really try very hard to not answer text or anything while I'm driving. When I'm on the motorcycle, I just assume everyone's out to kill me. Like literally everybody's trying to kill me, and I'm like I just got to get out of the way. And so I'm never too close to, like, I follow cars at an extreme distance. If a car starts closing on me, I will move out of the way. If they, I'll try and maintain that distance. I really don't like cars to be really, and a lot of times I'll look at them in the mirror and, be like, what the fuck are you doing? And then I always ride either on the shoulder or on the inside lane so I can get the fuck out of there if somebody does. Always plan the exit route. Fuck yeah, dude. Because people don't pay attention. Jersey Mike's owner died. I didn't know that.
Oh wow.
So, but yeah, it's pretty crazy out there now. And I was talking to my wife about, that I drive. Obviously, she's not like super happy about me riding the bike, but it's, I've been riding a long time, so she's not worried about me that much, but she's like scared to death of my son getting a motorcycle license. Like it's like on the bottom of her list.
Right.
Glare 1%er. I kind of do that. I generally do that too. I did not buy the Indian, man. I didn't. I did get the new bodywork in for my Z1000 the other day, so I got to get that painted, or get I have one piece left to paint. The rest of it came painted, but I can't wait to do this. I need my Z1000 back up and running. That thing just sounds so awesome. But I actually stopped riding my little bike because we have overcast in the morning a lot, a little bit of fog and stuff, and it's just too small. And I just don't think people will see me. I think somebody will kill me. So I only ride the bigger bike so people can see me. And it's fucking bright white. Stormtrooper bike.
Nice.
Yeah, Glare 1%er. I did not. I need to go. I need to go figure out what I'm going to do because I told my wife about the Indian and she didn't freak out. So I don't know. I don't really have room for it, but so.
Yeah, Glare out there's got a point. So the traffic in Texas already goes 90. Yeah, if you're going to drive slow, stay in the right lane. Don't be in the left lane.
It's against the law in Tennessee to be in the right lane if you're not passing.
You mean the left lane?
Or left lane, yeah. It's against the law. If and sometimes they actually enforce it, and I wish they enforce it all the time, 24. I wish I had a traffic enforcement officer that's all he did.
I think that's more. That may be more states than not. I can't tell you the number of. Because we drive everywhere.
At one time there were only 2 or 3 states that did it: Alabama, Tennessee, and somewhere else.
I don't abide by it. I figure if I get pulled over, I'll just be like, oh man, I'm so used to,
Yeah. Well, it's for people that camp out doing 55, I never get pulled over for it, even if I am camped out, because I'm always doing 70, 75, 80 miles an hour.
Yeah.
I do routinely 10, whatever the posted speed limit is, I'm going to be 10 over it, maybe 12 over. Just guaranteed, 100%.
Kind of depends on what area I'm in. I've had multiple law enforcement officers tell me 9 in your mind, meaning that, you go 9 or more over and you're more subject to get pulled over. But I also think that applies more to highways and stuff like that than it does interstate. But typically I'm running 80, 85 easy on interstates, easy. And that depends on if there's a pack of cars. If there's some that want to get down and dirty, if I have 2 or 3 other cars that want to do 90, 100 plus, let's go, baby. Let's do it.
Yeah. So right now, states where driving the right lane is mandated unless passing include Illinois, Maine, Massachusetts, Missouri, Montana, New Jersey, South Carolina, Tennessee, and Washington.
Okay, that's not a majority then. I thought it was.
Yeah, everybody does. Now there are, let's see. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. And I think Alabama, did I say, I should have said Alabama there too. Alabama is also.
I'll tell you another thing too that aggravates the fuck out of me is how people, and this is more like interstate driving through big cities and whatnot. People don't plan. They don't plan for their trip. So like if I know in 3 miles I've got to exit right, I'm not going to be in the far left lane in heavy traffic. That makes no sense, right? Like, it makes 0 sense, because what's going to happen is I'm going to get all the way up there, and then I've got to try to weave my way and work my way over very quickly, or stop in the middle of the road to be able to get over, right? And a lot of people, they don't think far enough ahead of time for that kind of shit. They trust until their GPS, and by then it's too late, until their GPS says, whatever, exit right in 1,000 feet. Well, fuck, I needed to know something.
Right.
2 miles.
So mine actually, so you can go in and set that. And I set mine to let me know a half mile, a quarter mile, and then the 1,000 foot.
Yeah, half mile even, depending on the traffic's not enough.
Yeah. So mine will say in half a mile, make turn on whatever. It does a quarter of a mile, and then it'll give me like in 500 feet, turn right or left or whatever.
Yeah.
So.
But it also helps to kind of know where you're going to and be able. A lot of people have trouble. My wife's one of the worst with that. Like, we can go somewhere. If I ever go somewhere, I can go back there again without ever having to use GPS, right? But my wife, there's places that we go multiple times a year, and like she just does not remember. I don't know. And that's certain people, I guess, and the priority in their memory or whatever, maybe.
So in Tennessee, they call it the keep right or slowpoke law. Requires drivers to stay out of the left lane on multi-lane highways with 2 or more lanes in each direction unless actively passing another vehicle. This law applies to interstate and multi-lane divided highways and aims to keep the left lane clear for faster moving traffic and passing, improving overall traffic flow and safety.
Well, that's good that they clarify like that. Like, I've never actually read the laws on that because we don't have it here, and that's good that they acknowledge cleared it for the faster moving traffic. That's kind of cool.
Yep.
So if you are driving significantly faster over there, even though you may be a half a mile from the closest car, you know what I mean, or a quarter mile from the closest car, odds are they're probably not going to fuck with you.
Yep, and they'll give you tickets for that shit too. So, but yeah, it's an interesting. It's interesting here. We've only had that law for like 7 or 8 years. And we have people come down from like New York, New Jersey, Virginia, a bunch of other places. They'll come down and they're like, or Ohio, they'll come down and be like, I got a ticket for being in the left lane. What the fuck's up with that? And I'm like, left, you can't be in the left lane, bro. We have a slowpoke law here.
I'm like, how fast were they driving? Not very fast, what you're saying.
Yeah, obviously. And
they were doing like 60 and a 75 in the left lane or something.
And that you can't do that here. You can't. In Nashville, like even in Nashville, if you're not doing 75, 80 miles an hour, you're gonna get run over because we have no sense of humor about it here. Like we've got places to be.
Yeah.
You know, if you want to be slow, get all the way over and out the fucking way. So Glare 1% says left lane is for crime. Fair. That's fair. I'm gonna allow that. I mean, I set the cruise control at whatever, and I use it so like it's 70 from here to Nashville, and I will occasionally, not every time, but occasionally, I get in the far left and I set it at 82 or in that area, and I'll just let her eat. And I pass cops all the time. I pass state troopers in the median, and they're just like, "Yep, okay."
Yeah.
And now if somebody comes flying up behind me, I'll move over. I keep an eye on the rearview because there are people here that will drive. I mean, it's not unusual here to drive 100 miles an hour.
But that could be dangerous too if they're planning on hitting the right lane and going around you.
No, that's what signals are for. I know you guys don't use your damn signals, but I use my signals.
Well, that's great if you do it in enough time. And then we were talking about people paying attention to shit. And if they're paying
right. I always pay attention.
Now, if they're bad, if you pull over and front of them,
they
whatever,
slow down.
That's their fucking fault.
They'll get really pissed about that.
I'm not saying it's your fault. That's not what I'm not putting blame on you. I'm just saying that situation happens where somebody flies up on you, and then you go to try to get over, but then they're trying to go around you and.
Yeah,
create a whole other.
Anson's out there throwing out the Dennis Leary lyrics. I drive really slow in the ultra fast lane while people behind me are going insane. I'm in a soul. That's great. I remember that. I remember that tour. That was awesome. It was in college. It was great. Great time to be alive. So the thing is about motorcycles these days is I think more people are watching for motorcycles. The problem is that you have more people or even more people driving that don't give a shit. They're not even watching for other cars. So, it's terrible. Again, I literally treat everybody like they're trying to kill me. I don't get close to people. I'll ride. I will literally ride either on the outside, on the shoulder of the outside lane, so I can just go on the shoulder if I have to, or I'm like right on the white line so I can duck into the next.
All this driving talk. And I've got a 12-hour drive Wednesday. So
you're not flying?
Fuck no. Where am I gonna? I mean, bumfuck middle of nowhere in New Mexico. Where am I gonna?
Well, you fly into like, I don't know what even's in New Mexico anymore, but
I would have to fly into. I would have to fly into probably like Albuquerque, and then I'm 3 or 4 hours away. Easy.
Yeah,
easy. 3 or 4 hours away. So then I got to rent a car to drive over there. So like by the time I did all of that, that's 4 hours. It's only 12 to drive it myself.
Yeah, I'm getting ready for TwitchCon, and I'm flying out, and then I get back from there, and then a few weeks later we have the event here, and then it seems like there's somewhere else I'm going after that. I forget what.
Well, and here's the other thing too. I could get over there. It's possible, but I mean, we got 3 days basically on the range, and it's entirely possible. It's like, okay, we've got 5,000 rounds of ammo left. Who wants it? You can't. Can't take that shit on a plane,
bro. People used to love it when I go to a match. Generically, I'm gonna fly, and so I used to do the Well, I used to do all the matches, but one of the ones that used to fuck me every time was I'd go into Zombies in the Heartland in Nebraska. There is no close airport, so I would either fly into Denver, rent a car, and drive over, or I would land in whatever the fuck. I can't think of the name of the city in Nebraska, Omaha maybe, and I'd land in basically eastern Nebraska, and then rent a car and drive over the other way. And it was either direction. It was going to be 6 hours, right? 5 or 6 hours of driving.
Yeah.
And then I would have to go to immediately, no matter which airport I flew into, I would have to immediately go to Shields or Sportsman's or somewhere like that and buy ammo. So I would go buy ammo,
right,
load it into the car, and then drive. And I would shoot all weekend. I'd shoot the match. And then whatever I had left over, I'm not fucking taking that shit on the airplane. So I would hand out, like, I would give away, I remember one year I gave away like half a case of shotgun ammo, maybe a full case. I had I took most of the 9mm and 223 with me, but I can't, you can only in theory carry 11 pounds of ammo. I've never been checked though, and I know I've been over many times, but I would just give away boxes of 9mm and 223 because why not? Because I can't take it with me. And they loved me. My friends absolutely loved me. They're like, yeah, keep coming. Come here every year. So,
yep.
But yeah, it was. I like Nebraska. I like Grand Island especially. Grand Island's cool. So it's just not near any fucking thing. So, except the ammo plant. So.
Well, I was just happy to get the invite to all that this year because I thought the going was over till January. So,
because of what in January?
SHOT Show.
Oh, what happened at SHOT Show that made you think it was over?
No, I said I thought this year all the going was over this year until to SHOT Show in January.
Oh, until SHOT Show.
Yeah, because TriggerCon was supposed to be this week, which is interesting. But they
canceled. Is TriggerCon coming back?
Right, they say they're going to do it in 26, but Rainier's having problems, so I don't know. I've pretty much written it off. I mean, if it happens, it happens. But 2 weeks ago now, I guess I've never been to Ballistic Summit. It's an invite only thing, and pretty hard to get an invite because it's pretty super limited. And so I got a call 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. And they're like, what are you doing in 3 weeks or something, you know? I'm like, hell yeah, I'll go. Apparently they had something come up and they were on the list and couldn't make it. And I was one of the names that popped up. So
awesome. Hey, when you get back, you really need to take an afternoon and help me out setting up how to move some of my stuff to podcast. And I need, the information for the patches dude. I'm getting my store set up now, so
I got a message from him the other day. As a matter of fact, it's like you need patches. You want to go ahead and get them done for SHOT Show and get them out of the way. That way, because sometimes I think his people make them in Pakistan. You can't get PVC patches made in the fucking U.S.
Really?
It's fucking impossible to do because of the restrictions, right? For the OSHA or the environmental and the other
EPA.
So they all the PVCs come from overseas. But Pakistan, I think Pakistan's where his are done. Which I've had good luck out of them, and they're cheap enough. But because they come from over there, sometimes it can take a month or two. So you want to get them plenty ahead of time.
I'm actually going to do challenge coins for my event at DebateCon. I actually have to get those done.
I'll tell you another thing you can do that is cheaper than challenge coins, but very similar is poker chips.
I looked at poker chips. I don't play poker, but that's a good idea too. But the challenge coins, I can get a reasonable deal on them, but but I'm not gonna give them away. I'll have to. I'm gonna sell those as kind of like souvenir memorabilia. For like, what do you think a challenge coin should cost?
Oh, I have no idea. I've never
$10.
Less than that, I would think.
Metal coin, gold plated.
Oh yeah, you get all fancy like that. I was thinking more of like just a nickel, silver type thing.
I could probably do. Yeah, I was thinking probably $10 for each coin.
Maybe
just a tenner.
Yeah,
I don't need to make any money on them, but I can't lose any money on them.
Right.
Like I'm doing this whole event out of pocket anyway. So,
Buddha out there is talking about the Texas signs about picking up hitchhikers.
Oh, there's tons of those.
So I got a funny story about that. So I was working at doing some work at the police department one day. This town has it has 2 prisons, and it also has a mental facility. And there's those signs, right, that are up. And so we get there's a call that comes in, and it's like, there's somebody that they're pretty sure that he escaped from the mental facility, and he's trying to walking down the road trying to hitchhike or whatever, blah blah blah. And so they're like, you want to go? I'm like, hell yeah. So I jump in the car with them, and we run across town, and the guy sure enough's walking down the road, and you could tell he ain't all there. And pull up behind him, and he literally, they motion, and he comes to the car, and they're like, they get out, whatever, they're talking to him, and he's like, yeah, man, I was just trying to get home. And they're like, oh yeah. He's like, the Enterprise should be here to beam me up any minute now. And they said, I've already received the distress signal or some shit. I don't remember exactly. It's been a long time ago.
Drugs.
And they're like, oh really? And he's like, they're like, oh well, yeah, well, we can help you with that, but what you have to do, and they handed him the handcuffs, and they said, what you need to do, you have to put these on because there's disturbances in the atmosphere, and the Enterprise can't get enough signal to beam you up. These will boost your signal. And he put the handcuffs on himself, and they fucking loaded him up.
No shit.
Yeah, they loaded him up, took him back to the crazy house. Like, it was fucking nuts, dude.
Oh, man.
Yeah, they just went along with his. Star Trek delusion.
I actually asked one of the corrections officers about those signs, and he said that they're not because people escape. It's because they release people and they're out in the middle of fucking nowhere, and sometimes they don't have rides.
Right.
And these aren't necessarily good people. I mean, they're being released, but that doesn't mean they're good people. So
yeah,
you don't want that they. Obviously, they get out on the highway and then try and hitchhike or whatever back. And he's like, yeah, we just have signs out there so people know that they're probably not encountering the best quality of hitchhiker.
Yeah. It's also kind of an identifier that there's a prison or something like that in the area, right?
Yeah.
So.
Yep. Yeah. It's but yeah, I asked the COs about that. It's pretty funny. I only have a few minutes left before I get to before I start really wrapping up. But,
I'm surprised nobody else jumped up.
I am too. We had some pretty good conversation earlier, but yeah, if they get out the right way, then they pay their debt to society. I agree with you. So. Buddha says, scariest thing happened to me. I delivered to a prison, so no guns on me, and prisoners unloading me. Next thing I know, tornado horns go off. I almost shit myself. Oh yeah, that would, dude. That would. I have a.
Yeah, they're trustees probably that were unloading. You got to figure.
Yeah, of course we were, and.
We see trustees around town and stuff.
Gun prattle doesn't interest you, Anson?
All the time.
We didn't have to talk gun prattle. We could have talked other stuff. But if you leave me to my own devices.
I don't really give a shit what Anson wants, honestly. So
yeah. So what's your take, Clover Tack, on all of the ICE issues that we've been having and the Democrats, the way the Democrats are looking at it? Is it so? To me, it's like,
stupid.
To me, it's like drawing a really clear line for Americans that care about America and Americans that only say they care about America, but really just don't give a shit.
So this is shit that's went on forever. This is what's fucked up about it all. So
but it's so obvious now.
It's like people were literally fucking born yesterday in this country. I don't get, and I get it. This is an old head, whatever, boomer, fucking you're out there and you're a young buck, and I get it, right? I get it, but fucking listen to people that's been around, because like this shit. So what happens is this shit's went on forever. It's went on under multiple fucking presidents on either fucking side. Just because Trump says something and tweets about it, all of a sudden he's the only one in history that's ever done it.
Trump is not the radical. You know what's shocking me right now is Trump really is not the radical. It's everybody else is the like Trump is actually saying, yeah, we're gonna go do this.
No, I get it, but I mean it's what I'm saying is because he says something. We're in the age of social media, right? And because he actually says something, none of the other presidents have ever come out and said, hey, we're going in and picking up these people, and they've never said that publicly. Trump fucking comes out and just fucking says it because Trump
live on fucking TV.
Trump says a lot of shit, right? That's one of the problems I have with him. Trump says a lot of shit. So, but he don't mind. He'll just fucking blurt it out and fucking say it. Like none of the other presidents have said it. So it has never been able to have been used before. So everybody thinks it's some new fucking thing that it's the end of the world. Everybody, the left, thinks it's some new thing, the end of the fucking world. And it's like, it's not. Like, please.
Emmett, to answer your question, yes, I am streaming at, I think I'm going to be on at like 7 o'clock, 7:30, somewhere along in there. I'm going to be doing another Prime Kai panel. We're going to be taking on this, the TikTok trends of jumping on trains and other bullshit. I'm going to purposely divert us away from that into the bigger picture of all of these stupid ass trends. Like, remember a few years ago, people were drinking milk and going in, opening up a gallon of milk, taking a big healthy swig and then putting it back. I don't know if you guys remember that. That was dumb. We've had people, a trend was to try and, what was it? Now I'm drawing a blank. There was another really stupid ass trend where people died.
The Tide Pod thing.
Yeah, the Tide Pods was just more funny than anything. But a couple of people nearly died.
The cold challenge or the ice challenge. There was that one.
Yeah, the ice challenge. I don't care. We'll figure it out. I'll remember by tonight what the stupid ass trends where people get. The going up and instead of doing the what is it? The knock and dash or something like that. What is it? It's
oh yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah, where
you go knock on the door and then run away. Instead of doing that, where they're going up, and they're hammering on the door and kicking it and making all kinds of racket and then running off. A kid in Texas got shot over that.
Yep.
Now he got shot in the back, which I think was bad, but I think the guy had been drinking a little bit, so he probably wasn't in his best mind. Ding dong ditch, thank you. Yeah, the ding dong ditch, which was super super bad, and actually I think more people got killed doing that kind of thing than people know about. I know that there was somebody maybe in Ohio. I think I'll have to grok that shit up or something.
Is all that any different than, mailbox baseball or?
Yeah, it absolutely is because
trenching a yard. Like, is it?
Yeah, because people are dying. Like, people are jumping onto moving subway cars.
Well, yeah,
for a TikTok challenge, right?
That's pretty stupid.
Like, people are going up and in the middle of the night, 11 o'clock. This 11-year-old kid goes up on a grown man's porch in the middle of the night. It's like 10:30, 11 o'clock at night, and just bangs the shit out of the door.
Right.
And like hammers on it. And apparently I maybe did it multiple times. It definitely did it to multiple houses. And the guy comes out with a gun and just, shoots a kid.
Yeah.
Right. And, that's bad. Yes, the Tylenol cereal challenge. I don't know what the cereal challenge is, but the apparently there's some Tylenol Tylenol issue with pregnant women now. I don't know what Tylenol cereal is. I'll have to look into that. There's all of these stupid ass things that people do on TikTok that become these challenges.
Trump needs to come out and tell everybody they absolutely do not need to move to Scotland. Whatever you do, not move to fucking Scotland. You know.
Yeah,
and then all these fuckers will, like, are eating Tylenol. All these fuckers will move to Scotland, and we're better off.
So I actually just read an article. I'll have to.
I'm sorry if you live in Scotland, by the way.
I just read an article, Clovertac, and then I'm going to end. I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do my outro. But so there was this. There was a challenge, or not a challenge, but I just read an article about this girl who was. There's some questions whether she was cyber bullied or not, or just bullied at school or whatever. But apparently, this stupid ass girl faked suicide, thinking by just taking a shit ton of Tylenol that was harmless, and it was just going to be like a prank or joke on her family or a cry for help, whatever the fuck it was. But it destroyed her liver, and it took her a week to die. As her liver shut down, and then her organs shut down, and she died. And literally, a doctor had to tell. The article was written by the doctor that had to tell her that no, you actually did kill yourself. You didn't, because she was, basically when she was staying in an emergency room, she said, that eventually she said it was fake. I was just, I was just faking a self-deletion attempt. And the doctor had to say, no, you succeeded. It's just not going to be over as quick as you think it is. So, and these are these things are dangerous. Like these are, I mean, look, I'm going to admit that we did some stupid shit too. Like, daring people to, do a backflip off the rope swing into the river. But, or, I mean, I'm one of the ones that did lake jumping on bicycles, right? Like, it's probably not the smartest thing ever. But I can't say, I honestly can't say that I ever wanted to do, do something that stupid, right? And I never did it really for like whatever fame or something. But at any rate, I'll have to look into the Tylenol cereal challenge. That sounds just perfectly fucked up.
Yeah, but there's also a difference, especially with like the Tylenol thing, or like you're not doing something to impress it. Even with the Tide Pod or something, right? It's the same way. Like you would do a backflip off the rope swing in an attempt to impress people, right?
Right.
In an attempt to raise.
It wasn't a cry for help.
In an attempt to raise your self-esteem or raise your status, right? They do these other things either to try to get along or become part of the herd, or they do it in spite of something or somebody. So there's a totally different motivation factor, I think, to all that too.
Yeah. All right, well, guys, I got to get out of here. I know I'm 5 minutes early, but I got to go. Clovertac, thank you for being on the show. As always, it was a pleasure.
Yep.
I bet you didn't even realize FN still made rifles, at least bolt action rifles.
Okay, whatever.
But they did.
I got some cool shotguns too. Just saying.
Yeah, and I am streaming later. Catch me back here at 7 o'clock, 7:30ish. We're gonna have a great time. We're gonna go beat up on some lefties again. Just normal shit for me. As always, guys, be cool. Wear glasses if you need them, and I'm not sending you anywhere. So go stand on Dusty's lawn or whoever's live's lawn. You guys have a great rest of your evening, and we'll see you back here later. All right, be Fed posting tonight. All right, Fed post away, Anson. See you guys.